Welcome to a play-by-play review. I'm your host, Henry, and in just a few minutes, we will have the kickoff between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL. This is a Week 18 Saturday night matchup. The first one I will be attempting a play-by-play commentary for the NFL. I've done one game in the MLB back in late August, early September, whenever it was, an Orioles-Red Sox game, so I'm dusting off my play-by-play skills again and going to see how it goes for football this time. It's a very huge matchup for the playoff picture. Both these teams are in the playoffs at this point. The Niners are 12-4, Seahawks 13-3. And I believe with a win, the Seahawks would be the 1 seed. They would capture the NFC West and also the top seed in the NFC. If they were to lose, they would drop down to the 5 seed. They would have a lock there. Whereas the 49ers, if they were to win, they would, I believe, capture the 1 seed over the Seahawks, so they would have a win of the division, and no one else is close enough to get the 1 seed. If the 49ers lose, they would fall to the 5th or 6th seed, I think, depending on how the Bears play on Sunday, tomorrow, when this is being recorded. The Bears, I think, are 12-4 also, I believe. Either that or they're 11-5 right now, and they can probably get to 12-5, I would assume. That's my guess from what I can remember. But yeah, it should be a very big matchup between two teams that are playing very solid. The 49ers especially have been playing really, really well over the past, probably month or so. Got off to a rocky start, had a lot of injuries. No Fred Warner and Nick Bosa for most of the season. Nick Bosa's not returning this season at all. There's a chance that it said that Fred Warner could potentially return by the NFC Championship game if the 49ers get there, but he will not be playing in this game. Neither will Ricky Pearsall or Trent Williams on the offensive side of the ball for the 49ers. So that's very big because Trent Williams has been one of the best offensive tackles in football for he's been in the league, 13 years now, I think. Let me check. In 2010, it's actually 15 years at this point. And he's basically been one of the best offensive linemen for most of his career, both in Washington and in San Francisco. Seahawks are not going to have Charles Cross, their first-round pick at left tackle. So both starting left tackles for these teams are out. Other than that, the Seahawks are a bit more healthy, I'd say. They have some players out on IR, but not quite to the level of the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, it looks like they're doing the national anthem, so I guess kickoff's going to be delayed a little bit. But I guess that will actually give me a little bit of time to discuss the game that happened previously today, the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll certainly cover these games again in my weekly recap, but since the Niners Bucks game, or not the Panthers Bucks game just happened, it was the Panthers would lose, Buccaneers would win by 2 points in a very, very rainy game, in a game that the referees were certainly didn't seem to like Carolina all that much, but Carolina wasn't playing amazing all that well either. Bryce Young threw a pretty costly interception in the second quarter, right at the end, and the Buccaneers would get a field goal out of it to put them up to 16 points. Panthers also missed a field goal, and then I think it was the fourth quarter, they fumbled on a flea flicker when they were driving pretty well, and really cost them there. So Panthers and Bucks, their division is not yet decided. They're both 8-9, and yet, of course, the NFC South crown, the sub 500 division crown, is now going to be decided by the Falcons-Saints game on Sunday. I think if the Falcons win, I think the Panthers are in, and if they lose, the Buccaneers are in, I think. It's one of those two things, basically. Whoever wins, the winner of the Falcons-Saints game decides the Panthers and Bucks who goes into the playoffs, which is absolutely hilarious. That honestly, at this point, honestly, I take either of the Saints or Falcons with how they're playing over the Panthers or Bucks. over just the past month because neither. I mean, the Panthers have looked a little better than the Bucs. The Bucs have looked terrible over the past month, but the Falcons and the Saints, when they don't have anything to play for anymore, they actually are playing pretty well. All right, looking at Twitter now just to double check. So if the Saints win, the Bucs are in. If the Falcons win, the Panthers are in. That's what it is, which is again just absolutely hilarious. It. I don't know. I don't remember the last time a division has just been decided like that, but this is pretty unique, I'll say. So going through the national anthem right now on screen. So I'll see if I can figure out how to fill time, since that's certainly something I'm probably going to have to do, especially when we get commercials. We see Cooper Kupp. I still can't believe Cooper Kupp's in Seattle. I feel like he hasn't done much this season, but long time Los Angeles Ram. I don't think he was drafted when they were still in St. Louis. I think it was, when was Cooper Kupp drafted? Let me look that up real quick. Because the Rams obviously moved in 2017. I think that might have been the year he was drafted. And let's see, he was drafted, yes, 2017, third round pick. So he was not in St. Louis at all. He was there the year after, and I guess 2017 was the first year. Yeah, that would have been the first year in Los Angeles, and that was still when they had Jeff Fisher, I think, as their head coach, if I remember correctly, because I think he got now I'm going to have to look this up as well, because Jeff Fisher got replaced by Sean McVay, but I think that was 2018, or like the 2017-2018 off season. And Jeff Fisher was not very good in Los Angeles, or St. Louis and Los Angeles. No, he was only there until 2016. I guess 2017 was the first year. Oh yeah, no, because I was off by 1 year. So no, 2017 was the first year under Sean McVay in Los Angeles. Of course, he has to be a former Washington Redskins offense coordinator. As I've said before, I'm a Commanders fan / Redskins fan, whatever name you want to call them. And yeah, it was it's always seeing that graphic of the 2013 coaching staff for the Commanders, Redskins back then, which was like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel, and I think Matt LaFleur as well, and I think also Kevin O'Connell maybe. It's the whole Shanahan McVay tree essentially, because they got started under Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan's dad, who was the coach in Washington for the early 2010s. I forget, honestly, I don't remember was it Jim Zorn before that? I don't remember exactly who the head coach that Dan Snyder brought in before Mike Shanahan. But yeah, Shanahan was there with the RG3 years, then he got fired for Jay Gruden, and Jay Gruden was I mean, he had some decent years in terms of keeping it not horrible under with Kirk Cousins at the helm, but Dan Snyder, that's kind of the excuse for like everything, because Dan Snyder's just a worse human being and a terrible owner, and not sure which one's actually more bad. I'm actually going to say that Dan Snyder is a worse human being than an owner, because he's a terrible owner, but he's also done awful things as a human being. So I'm very glad I don't have to see Dan Snyder running the Washington Commanders anymore, because he's a terrible person and also really bad at his job. Yeah, anyway. Ramble about that over. Started on Cooper Kupp. That's where I started out. But yeah, he's always. I remember having him in fantasy a bunch, and like him. I think it was either 27. I think it was 2018 actually, when they like really exploded. It was him, Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks. And then also throw in Todd Gurley. That Rams team was stacked on offense. I'm so sad that Todd Gurley's knee just kind of not exploded, just like got torn to shreds as he went on. They had like a degenerative arthritis in his knee or something like that. It was like he had like no muscle in his knee by like the 2019 season. It was just awful because Gurley was great. He was such a fun running back to watch. And like he went down with injury in that postseason in the 2018 season, and it really just hampered the Rams because they tried to replace him. I was just rewatching some stuff, so that's why a lot of this is fresh in my memory. But like with C.J. Anderson for all you Broncos fans at home who might remember that name, but yeah, they tried to replace him with or just bring in someone to fill in his Gurley spot because Gurley was injured, and they made it to the Super Bowl, but just got completely stuffed by a very good game plan by Bill Belichick because they shut down the rushing attack and then just zeroed in on the passing attack. And the Super Bowl 53 was not a very enjoyable Super Bowl in terms of the actual play on the field, but I know for fans of defensive football, it was a very interesting one to watch. My stalling is over. I've filled enough time. We're getting to the kickoff, and Eddie Pinheiro has now booted it out to the Seahawks, who are going to kneel it in the back of the end zone. So we'll get to see Sam Darnold having an excellent year in Seattle. We also have a flag down, so not quite sure what that would be on because there is no run back here, but we're getting something. Bill Vinovich is the referee. Legal formation, I think something on Seattle, essentially. So it's going to back him up a little bit. 49 is running a pretty interesting alternate uniform combo. It's a black with some pretty cool text on their numbers. Seahawks are in their white shirts, blue pants. So I think that's their usual away combo. And we are underway here. Seahawks are going to be moving in the first quarter right to left. And we're getting started right here. Sort of single back formation. Darnold motions over Cooper Kupp a little bit. That might be JSN, actually. Darnold throws it out for about a 4-yard gain. Tackled by Diamador Lenore. Who is that? Was that Cam Akers, actually? No, it isn't. Who is 22? Is that Rashid Shaheed, actually? That might be him. Yes, that was to Rashid Shaheed. That's who it was, who made the completion. It's going to take me a sec to get used to the numbers because I don't watch either of these two teams all that regularly. Jackson Smith-Njigba is actually off the field for this 2nd and 7. Single back set. Darnold is under center, motions his tight end. There's a handoff to Kenneth Walker. Makes a good cut and will get the first down. Run of about 9 yards on 2nd and 7. Kenneth Walker having a pretty nice season. I think he's set to become a free agent after the end of the season, so we'll see if Seattle elects to keep him because they like to run him and Charbonnet. They like to split carries, though. I think a lot of people would say that Kenneth Walker is the better running back of the two. So we'll see if K-Dubs is gonna go to a team that is more needy for an RB1 because he certainly has shown flashes of being a bona fide RB1. So 1st and 10, faked the handoff to Kenneth Walker. Now throwing to him on a screen pass. He's got some room, breaks a tackle, and gain of about 20 plus yards past the 49ers 40-yard line. Tackle there at the end, but not before a big gain on that first down. So Seahawks immediately into plus territory here in just a few plays. So good looking screen pass there. Very good blocking. Gray Zabel especially. What a find in the draft. I mean, not necessarily fine because he was highly touted coming out of North Dakota State, but he's been, from what I've seen, insanely good. So on the 49ers, San Francisco, for 39-yard line, the 49ers 39-yard line, this will be a handoff to Zach Charbonnet. Breaks it right through the middle for, looks like about 6 or 7. Got to throw that in there for the kids. But it was actually one of those two. 6 yards for the rush, right down the middle. Seahawks massively upgraded their offensive line, from what I can tell, because it was bad last year. But they're performing a lot better. Their passing offense got up to a really hot start this year, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit. They've leaned heavily more on their run game, I'd say, especially more in the back half of the season from what I've seen. And while their offense might not have been as explosive as it was, as we get a handoff to Charbonnet, who gets met immediately in the backfield. Big hit there. Who is that? That is Malik Mustafa on the tackle. But yeah, the Seahawks they seem to have gone more, I think, more of a balanced attack now in the rushing attack from what I've seen. I mean, they might have been doing that the whole year, but it definitely feels like more in the latter half, they've leaned a bit more on the run game than the passing game to start out. And they're still 13-3, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. It's not quite as explosive than I think we saw, because there's early in the season we were saying like Jackson Smith and Jigman might go for 2,000 yards, but now it's not quite the case anymore. So 3rd and 4, Darnold finds his tight end there. I believe that's tight end. I think that's AJ Barner. No, it is not. Who is 81? Eric Saubert, maybe? Yes, Eric Saubert, the 2nd string tight end. Let's see. He is he's been in the league since 2017. Dang. 5th round pick in 2017 by Atlanta, out of Drake College or University. I forget if it's Drake College or University, one of the two. But yeah, that was Eric Saubert on the catch, about 5 yards for the first down. So 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line for Seattle. 11:02 left to go in the first quarter. I formation here. Handoff to Kenneth Walker. Cuts it back over the middle. Makes a good cut. Gets about 9 yards. Tackled there. Looked like it was by Malik Mustafa, the free safety. But yeah, once again, not before getting 9 yards on the carry. That was actually not Mustafa. That was Renardo Green on the tackle. Of course, he has to wear 0. Mustafa has to wear, I think, number 6. And with the text, it's like very, very similar. the 0 and the 6. It's a single back set here. 2nd and 2. Zach Charbonnet in the backfield this time. Heavy on the left side of the formation. Jackson Smith and Jigba split out right. Zach Charbonnet gets the handoff. Breaks a tackle. Gets the first down. And a little bit more down to the 14-yard line from what I can tell. So 1st and goal. So actually it's the 9-yard line. Run of about 6 if my mental math is correct. Brock Purdy is staring impassively on the sidelines. We'll see him here in a little bit. Crossing 10 minutes now in the first quarter. So Seahawks marching steadily down the field here on the opening drive. Once again, 1st and goal. 5 rush, 3 pass for the Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet still the back in this. Darnold motions his tight end. Looks to pass. Throws back corner of the end zone looking for Jackson Smith and Jigba, but it was overthrown. We do get a flag down. Diamador Lenore in coverage. Looks like it's going to be pass interference on him. Ball was not really catchable from what I could tell. The ball was not really near JSN, but there was a little bit of contact. I mean, looked more in the lines of, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that call. If anything, it would have been just illegal contact at the top of the route. There was like a little bit of a grab, but I don't know. That wasn't a great call, in my opinion. But that will net 1st and goal from the 1. So incomplete pass, but in actuality, it didn't matter. Diamador Lenore, quite a tongue twister there for his name, comes off the field. Almost certainly a run play here. Certainly a running situation. I formation for the Seahawks. It looks like they're going big as well. 2 tight ends at least and a fullback. This will be it's going to be a pass play. Darnold looking, gets pressured and sacked. Sacked back at the 14 by someone who I don't know off the top of my head. 46. Could be D. Winters. Is it him? Am I going to guess the first try? No, it is not. 49. Who are you? I think it is Tatum Benthune, 48. I think that's how I'm pronouncing his last name. But yeah, pressure right up the middle. Delayed pressure, though. So the Seahawks read the play action well, or the 49ers read the play action well. And huge sack on 1st and goal. So back to the 13.5-yard line. 2nd and goal, handoff to Zach Charbonnet. He will get past the line of scrimmage, get back about half the yardage to the 7-yard line. They'll make it 3rd and goal. So a 1st and goal from the 1 is not turned into the most opportune of situations here. Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, was their defensive coordinator for a few years before getting the head coaching job for the Jets in 2021. Was the head coach up until early last season when he got fired about like 5 games in, I think. And now he's back with the 49ers, and the 49ers defense overall has been playing pretty well. Looks like there's a bit of confusion on the Seahawks offense. I think they're probably going to take a timeout here, and they will. Some kind of personnel play calling confusion. And Seahawks will have to take their first of 3 timeouts with 8:09 left to go in the first quarter. I'm going to pause real quick. This won't take any time for you, just so I can take a quick drink. Okay, we're back, and Seahawks are in the huddle right now. Darnold is expressively communicating the play call. Shotgun formation, Zach Charbonnet to the left of Sam Darnold. Pretty obvious that this is a passing situation. Jackson Smith-Njigba on the bottom. No, it's actually a draw to Charbonnet, who gets to the 4-yard line. 49ers were not fooled there at all, so 4th and goal from the 4. We'll see if the Seahawks elect to take the points or go for it. Does seem like, I think initially they're going to try and go for the field goal here. Yeah, there was initially a hole around the left tackle, or the right tackle, sorry. But the 49ers defense sniffed it out very quickly. The Seahawks are actually lining up to go for it. They're only 11% from 4th downs, lowest in the NFL. Shotgun formation again, Zach Charbonnet to the right side this time. Motion on the left. Darnold takes the snap, throws left side of the end zone, and incomplete. Looking for Cooper Kupp, but throw was wide. And the 49ers defense holds strong. Darnold looks like he was looking for a flag, probably holding or pass interference in the back of the end zone, but does not get it. So Seahawks start out the drive very efficient, but falter entirely in the in the red zone on their goal to go situation. And yeah, that throw, I mean, there probably was some contact, and you could certainly argue with the flag there, but throw was way off and no flag was called. So no points for the Seattle Seahawks. And we will go to commercial on the TV broadcast. I'll keep going here for a little bit. And yeah, we'll get a first look at the 49ers offense. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle is in. There's questions on if he would be playing today or not with his ankle injury, but he has been ruled active. McCaffrey having an incredible season, as per usual, to be honest. He's, I think, pretty close, he's close right now to the 1,000 mark in the sense of 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards. He needs 110 receiving yards to get there. He has over 1,100 rushing yards, and right now sitting at exactly 890 receiving yards. So I think he's like one of the only other running backs to have done it. I think he did back in Carolina once. But yeah, he'd need a big day in the pass catching role to reach that mark in this final game of the season. Either way, though, really good year for McCaffrey. He's been healthy all year, which has been very handy, and a big reason why the 49ers are doing as well as they have been. Since last year, McCaffrey was not healthy at all. He only played in like 3 games, I'm pretty sure. And one of the reasons they were not a very good team last year led them to drafting Michael Williams in the first round, who is now unfortunately on injured reserve. Not sure if we'll see him back in the playoffs at all, but he was their 11th pick overall in the draft. And so 12 plays for the Seahawks and no points to speak of. Unsuccessful on 4th down. I don't think Jackson Smith-Njigba had a single catch on that drive. Or he might have had the one early on. But it's rare to see a Seahawks drive go that long without JSN involved really at all. There was a little bit of contact while Kupp was running his route, not from the guy who was actually defending him, but they tried to do a pick play from the looks of things, but it actually kind of backfired, and Kupp ran into the defender who was crossing over. So instead, it is 49ers ball on the 4.5-yard line. Brock Purdy in shotgun hands it off to McCaffrey, who gets about 3 yards at most. Tackled there by Byron Murphy II, former first-round pick at nose tackle by the Seahawks. I think out of Texas, I remember correctly. I don't know why I remember him being from Texas so distinctly. But yeah, 2024 first-round pick, pick 16 from Texas. No, I remember him being pretty highly touted at that. I don't know exactly how his season's been going, but big value there. And stop McCaffrey after 3 yards. Shotgun once again for Brock Purdy and the Niners. Throwing situation here. Passes to, from the looks of things, not George Kittle, for about 4 yards. Who is that? I couldn't quite tell. Was that? I honestly couldn't tell who that was. Should have the Gamecast up. That would also be easy to tell me. But let me bring that up real quick, just so I can reference. That was to Juszczyk, I think. Thought it said 14, but I guess it was to Kyle Juszczyk, number 44. Purdy takes a snap here, looks to throw, and it is over the head of Juwan Jennings, incomplete. So 4th and 3, quick 3 and out forced by the Seahawks defense. Reek Woolen on the coverage there, but throw was just completely over the head of Juwan Jennings. There was a bit of pressure on Purdy, but overall it was just kind of looked like it might have been a little bit of miscommunication. Juwan Jennings just kind of stopped his route and looked like Purdy was trying to throw more towards the sideline. Jennings just kind of stopped halfway. So Thomas Morstead will punt. Rashid Shaheed returning. Rashid Shaheed does have I think 2 actually, punt returns for touchdowns. He will recover it around the Seahawks 40-yard line, get past up to the 50, gets tripped up there. So Seahawks, while they get stuffed at the goal line, their defense comes through, and there is a flag on the field, so they might not have quite the field position that they're expecting. You get a face mask against the 49ers, though, so this is actually very big for the Seahawks. Huge field position here for them now. Pretty much already almost at field goal range. And yeah, pretty obvious hands to the face mask there on, let's see, number 49. Who is that? Garrett Wallow, I think. Yeah, Garrett Wallow, number 49, special teams player. Let's see. He is a 2021 5th-round pick out of TCU. I don't think he would have been on that not winning national championship team, but team that made it to the Natty for TCU. I think that was the year after. I'm not the biggest college football savant, but I just remember TCU getting to the national championship recently and getting absolutely blown out by Georgia. It was like, 63-6 or something like that? Let me actually look that up because I don't remember. I just remember it being a very uninteresting bowl game. Let's see. TCU national championship game football. So it was 2022. That's what it was. 65-7. That's what it was. So Mr. Garrett Wallow would not have been on that 2022 team. He would have been in the NFL at that point. I wonder what players. I'm going to look through here while we're in commercial. I'm just going to say we're in commercial right now. So I'm going to see if I can find any players on this team. So actually Quentin Johnston, the 1st-round pick from the Chargers at wide receiver, was on this team. Actually did not realize he went to TCU. Let's see. Where do they just have the roster on Wikipedia? It's probably somewhere. Is it? I don't know. It might be somewhere. I'll figure it out later. Anywhere on the transfers? Not really. Just kind of scanning through to see if I can find anyone. Will Howard was on their team for. It says he was on the team. Oh, I know. That was against him, Kansas State. Never mind. All right. Anyway, we're back to the game. At a commercial break. Seahawks have the ball on the 35-yard line of San Francisco. 5:52 left in the first quarter. Single back, actually more of an I formation here. Darnold under center, hands it off to Kenneth Walker. Gets through, sort of initially tackled, and gets about 3 yards on the carry. Let's see, who is that on the tackle? Number 95? That's the wrong roster. I'm not quite sure who that is. Yeah, my player recognition is definitely not the best, unless it's like a team that I really follow. Might have been Alfred Collins on the tackle for the 49ers. I believe it was. All right. Fake the handoff for Darnold on 2nd and 7. Throws it to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who gets about 5 yards, so it will be a 3rd and 2. But the Seahawks are going kind of quick here on their second drive. Now they're slowing it down a little bit. Darnold 4 of 5 for just 36 yards. And looks like Kenneth Walker is not on the field. Looks like it will be Charbonnet in the backfield. Single back, Darnold under center, motions Cooper Kupp across the line. He will hand it off to Charbonnet, who gets a first down and more. Big run for Zach Charbonnet. Down and touchdown, actually. Charbonnet had a huge hole on the left side. Basically no one over there. The motion for Kupp certainly helped. Broke a tackle from the safety, and he's in for the touchdown. 27-yard touchdown run for one. Zach Charbonnet. I think that was... might have been Malik Mustafa on the attempted tackle. I thought he was going to bring him down, but Charbonnet shedded the block, or not the block, the shedded the tackle. And Mustafa had just did not have the angle whatsoever. He was on the wrong side of the hashes, and he did sort of catch up to him, but it wasn't a good angle, and Charbonnet broke out of it. Now the Seahawks are up 7-0. 4:29 left to go in the first quarter. So, yeah, Charbonnet, I think he's proven a lot of haters wrong this season. He's having a pretty good season. And, you know, that 1-2 punch with him and Kenneth Walker working pretty well right now. So, 7-0 Seahawks over the 49ers. And I'm going to go back because I want to figure out this TCU roster. I want to see where it is on, okay, personnel. There we go. Let's see if I can recognize any names. Amari DiMercato. He was a running back on this team. If you flash back to earlier in the season, he, while on the Cardinals, was had a big run against the Titans and just fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line for a touchback. So that was a rough one. Pulled to Deshaun Jackson, and it was like the week after. I think it was Malachi Corley did it, or was that the year before? It was like someone else did it the week before, and it was rough. And that was like the first game the Titans won that season. It was not good. I also see Kendre Miller, who is on the Steelers, or no, never mind, on the Saints. If I can actually look at the colors correctly, he's been okay, I think. Hasn't done too much, but it was a name I recognize. But Kendre Miller is also on this team. Anyone else? Brandon Coleman. Oh, hey, Brandon Coleman. Hey, he's on the Commanders. One of their sort of a rotational swing tackle. He was their starting left tackle last year, but they traded for Laramie Tunsil over the offseason. And so Coleman's kind of been a rotational guy. He's been starting the last couple of weeks because Tunsil has been injured. Tunsil will not be playing this week as well, so we'll see more of Brandon Coleman. But I like Brandon Coleman a lot. He's been good. So, yeah, right now the only other name I recognize. Let's go to that Georgia team, actually, to see, because there's probably a lot more players on this team. The team that beat TCU in the bowl game for the national championship. I immediately see Darnell Washington, their tight end, who is on the Steelers. He unfortunately just recently broke his arm in the Browns game that they lost. And before that, he was actually having a pretty good season. He is a third-round pick from the Steelers in 2023. He is 6'7", 264 pounds. So he was a mammoth of a tight end. And it's pretty good. All right, we'll get back to the 2022 Georgia Bulldogs roster in a sec, as the Seahawks have just kicked it off to the 49ers. So we'll get the second drive for the San Francisco 49ers in this game. The Niners went 3-and-out in their first drive. So see if they can do any better this time. It went run to McCaffrey, pass to Juszczyk, incomplete pass to Juwan Jennings, and then a punt for that first drive. Didn't really test downfield. They obviously once again, I said at the top of the show, are missing Ricky Pearsall. So one aspect of their passing attack is gone. Shotgun formation for Purdy and the 49ers offense. McCaffrey to his right. This will be a draw to McCaffrey, who gets just barely past the line of scrimmage for 2 yards, was basically tripped up immediately. Not much of a hole there, so 2nd and 8. 4:17 and counting left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Seattle Seahawks. Once again, this is a competition for the first place in the NFC and also the division for the NFC West. Whoever wins will get the 1 seed. Whoever loses will be the 5th seed, potentially the 6th seed if it is the 49ers and things don't break their way. So very big difference there. Purdy takes the snap out of shotgun on 2nd and 8. He will get wrapped up in the backfield, though, for a sack. About 3 yards lost there. Will be a sack there. Purdy almost was able to scramble out of it. Derek Hall, the Seahawks linebacker, on the sack there. But good coverage downfield by the Seahawks. Purdy almost had a lane to run, but Derek Hall was able to, just at the end, wrap him down for a 1-yard loss. So we'll make it 3rd and 9. The Seattle defense starting out early in this first drive and a half. Doing pretty well. Passing here for Purdy. He will check it down, and that will be tackled short. Juwan Jennings on the reception, but he will get 7 of the 9 yards required. So another 3, looking to be 3 and out here unless the Niners decide to be really aggressive, which I don't think they will be. Doesn't look like the punt team is trotting out on the field. So first 2 drives for the 49ers, 3 and out and 3 and out. And Reek Woolen, once again, they're partially on the tackle, though there was a gaggle of Seattle defenders there. Devin Witherspoon and Ernest Jones IV were also in on the tackle. And the 49ers, once again, are punting it away to Rashid Shaheed. He will call for a fair catch around the 18-yard line. That is where the Seahawks will be starting for their 3rd drive. So let's go back to the Georgia roster, because there's definitely more. Let's see. Adonai Mitchell, currently on the New York Jets. He was on Georgia for 2021 and 2022, transferred to Texas after that, and he was a 2024 second-round pick by the Colts. Was in the Sauce Gardner trade, where the Jets traded away Sauce Gardner and in return got 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell. And he actually is having a pretty solid time in New York with how terrible their season been going. He's actually had, all things considered, not a bad time in New York. So he was not having didn't seem to be much of a factor in the Colts offense while he was there. So, maybe the change of scenery is working out for him. But yeah, he was pretty highly touted. I remember that coming out of Texas. So that is where he was back in 2022. One of the quarterbacks was Stetson Bennett. He's now on the Rams. I think he was drafted. Okay, I'm thinking of who am I thinking of? Someone drafted by the Lions who I think I'm thinking of Hendon Hooker. That's who I was thinking of. But yeah, Stetson Bennett was played for Georgia for 5 years. He was on their team in 2017, and so he's now a backup on the Rams. He was a 4th-round pick, I believe, in 2023. Gunnar Stockton was also there. I just remember him. I don't know why his name stands out to me. I feel like I remember him being something, but maybe not. Anyway. I think he was actually on their current team. That's why. Same with Carson Beck, who is a redshirt sophomore. He is on Miami at the moment, and they're still in the playoff hunt. They won big in the semis for the college football playoffs. And yeah, Carson Beck is leading the way there. I'll get to the next name on the list, the next commercial break, because I think I found my time killer for the moment. And the next name is pretty big, but right now we're back to the action, or at least back to the replays of the action. Because the next name that I see on that little list is someone who's pretty good in the NFL right now. I'll let you guess who it is. But yeah, right now broadcast is showing really just Zach Charbonnet highlights. and really just the Seattle offense as a whole. Seattle lining up in I formation from the 18. That is Eric Saubert in motion. Darnold will hand it off to Kenneth Walker. Big hole right up the middle. Walker rushing. Breaks through again. Gets it all the way out, almost past the 35-yard line, almost to the 40. Huge rush on 1st and 10. 20-plus yards there. Big first shot from this Seattle offense. 20 yards for Kenneth Walker. Just ran it right up the middle. Great blocking downfield. Cut up to the right side. Got past the safety. And now up to the 37-yard line. Or 38-yard line. So exactly 20 yards on the rush there. Darnold single back. Hands it off to Kenneth Walker. Stutter step a little bit. Gets past the line of scrimmage, but just 1 yard. So 2nd and 9 there. My voice is annoyingly starting to get a little scratchy despite the water I'm drinking, so let's hope that doesn't persist all that much. So 2nd and 9 here for the Seahawks. 1:15 left to go in the first quarter. Shotgun formation for Darnold. Zach Charbonnet to his right. Cooper Kupp in motion. Darnold takes snap, looking to throws it downfield, finds Jackson Smith and Jigba at the 49-yard line. Tackled there by Renardo Green, but not before getting a first down. So they are at the 45-yard line of the Seahawks, so still in their territory. Never mind, they're huddled at the 45-yard line. I literally just said they're at the opposing 49-yard line. I don't know what I was saying. It's more like the 49.5-yard line, but right about at midfield. Single back formation. Zach Charbonnet is the back. Darnold will hand it off to him. He gets immediately wrapped in the backfield. Gets about 1 on the carry. Looks like is that Jair Brown? Yes, Jair Brown, the strong safety for the 49ers, was past the offensive line almost immediately and tackled Charbonnet. So looks like they're not even giving him the full yard there. As the first quarter is winding in, we'll see if the Seahawks elect to take a play here. And I might get a false start here, actually. ESPN's trying to go to commercial, but we do have a flag down. I think it's a false start. It looked like a false start. Either way, I think this will be the end of the first quarter. It is a false start on the Seahawks, so really the first major mistake they made, outside of the sack they took on their on the 1st and goal play. But yeah, false start on the Seahawks. That backs them up to 2nd and 15. There's actually 1 second left in the quarter, so I think we will get another play before. Oh, no, they've ticked it down now. It looked like Darnold was trying to draw the 49ers off sides, and I think there's like some shifting in the tight ends. I don't really know what's going on there, but that's the end of the first quarter. All right, we'll go quickly back to the rosters here. Let me just rearrange my tabs real quick. But yeah, the next player that I saw on the list who is certainly someone worth mentioning is none other than their tight end, Brock Bowers, who was, of course, the Raiders' first pick back in 2024 and just casually broke like all of the rookie tight end records that existed. Had an insane rookie season. This year was a bit of a step back, mostly because he was injured for a lot of it, and also the Raiders were just awful. Chip Kelly, their offense coordinator, was apparently just calling plays that didn't exist in the play sheet for some reason. I don't know why that was a thing, but yeah, absolutely crazy. Just insane. But either way, Brock Bowers he is incredibly good. And yeah, just looking at this list, both offense and defense is there's not a surprise why this team won the national championship. Let me go through one other. Who's the next one I can find? All right, I'll go through one more player, and then I'll pause and resume at the start of the second quarter. So on the offensive line, we have Broderick Jones, who is a Pittsburgh Steelers first-round pick in 2023. And I know he hasn't been playing the best for Pittsburgh so far. I know it's like not a lot of Steelers fans are super happy with how he's been playing, but still highly touted prospect coming out of a very good program. And he's going to a team that is historically had pretty good offensive line play on the Steelers, and I think he's been on injured reserve since I think it's week 12 is what it's saying. So he hasn't been playing. Is missing the rest of this season in 2025, but still. All right, we're actually back from the quarter break, so they're going over the false start play at the moment. So actually sneak in Amarius Mims, who is also on that Georgia team, a first-round pick in 2024 by Cincinnati at the offensive line position. And I think he's been pretty good. But that's about all I can say. So second quarter now, the drive is flipped. Seahawks now going left to right. Darnold will throw on 2nd and 15, finds Jackson and Jigba, spins out of a tackle, and he's just going to keep running through everybody. If he didn't step out, this is a touchdown. I think they might be saying he stepped out, but Smith and Jigba just broke a tackle by Dean Winters right at the start, and he did not step out there, He got the first down, and he did step out basically 2 yards after he got the first down, so no touchdown, but 2nd and 15 immediately erased by JSN, who makes an amazing play, gets 17 yards on the catch and run, and 1st and 10 for the Seahawks. So JSN 3 catches on 3 targets for 34 yards. Darnold 6 of 7 for a little over 50 yards at this point. Now he's under center with Charbonnet at his back on the 37-yard line. Charbonnet gets a good hole over the right side and will get 11 yards on the run. Charbonnet having a really good start to the game. This 49ers defense is not having a good start to the game, meanwhile. Who is that number 99? Is that Cleveland Ferrell, I think? Might have been him. Or is that Bryce? No, not Bryce Huff. One of the 49ers defensive linemen was walking off a little gingerly. It might have been Cleveland Ferrell. Might not have been. Couldn't quite tell. So single back set. Darnold under-centered Charbonnet at the back. Fake toss to him. Darnold instead looking to the end zone. Finds no one. Scrambles back over to his right. Now overthrows Charbonnet and goes out of bounds. Incomplete pass. 2nd and 10. Darnold was trying to take the shot into the end zone, but it was covered downfield. And 49ers defense makes a good play for the first time this drive, to be honest. Yeah, just nobody downfield. Good coverage there by the 49ers. And you probably might have been able to fit it into Charbonnet over on the rollback, but pretty tough throw, and in the end, just incomplete. I formation here. Darnold under center. Looks like one of the tight ends is at fullback, and Kenneth Walker is in the backfield. Kenneth Walker takes the handoff and gets met multiple yards behind in the backfield. That is, I'm gonna attempt to pronounce the same. Sam Okuya Inoue. Oku Ayinonu. That. Okuayinonu. He made the tackle for a 4-yard loss, 3rd and 4. Good penetration there on the run defense for the 49ers. So after giving up big catch and run to JSN 2 plays in a row, they start to clamp down. 3rd and 14 here from the 30-yard line. And a kind of swing pass over to Kenneth Walker in the backfield. He gets stopped immediately. Great play there by the 49ers defense. That is Upton Stout, the nickel corner on the stop there. They were trying to do a swing/screen pass, and Stout was getting blocked by one of the receivers. And he just shed the block immediately, met Kenneth Walker, and just drove him back. Great play there by the 49ers cornerback. That was... I'll figure out who that receiver was in a sec. Jason Myers is now on for a 47-yard attempt at the field goal. Myers kicks it, and he's going to miss it. Wow. Myers, who's been having an amazing season for the Seahawks, misses from 47. He had a game where not too long ago he went 6 for 6 on field goals. This time, however, 0 for 1. So really promising drive there for the Seahawks. Ends up with no points. So that's twice now Seahawks have had promising drives in 49er territory and with nothing. So still 7-0. The 49ers offense, though, has yet to really do anything. So we'll see if that changes. And back to this 2022 Georgia roster, just because I want to keep going. So let's see. I'll say Tate Ratledge, who's a offensive lineman. He's a 2025 second-round pick by the Lions. I think he's a guard. Yeah, he's kind of filled in for Frank Ragnow, who retired and then almost unretired but didn't unretire. But I know Tate Ratledge has been there, and I think he's been pretty good. Let's see. Who else? Well, there is Ladd McConkey, a second-round pick for the Los Angeles Chargers. So, yeah, actually in this game, in that bowl game between TCU and Georgia, the top two wide receivers for the Chargers, Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey, both in that game. So McConkey, 2024 second-round pick, had an insane rookie season. Not quite putting up those same numbers in his second season, though the Chargers offenses seem to spread the ball around a bit more. I know Quentin Johnston, who had got off to a really rough start in Los Angeles, has been having a much better time now. He's definitely his best year this year. So moving on to the defensive side of the ball, there's this is where it gets crazy. So can immediately start with Kamari Lassiter, the safety for Houston, second round pick in 2024, who's been incredible for them. I think he's been dealing with some injuries this year a little bit, but he's been a very solid piece to an insanely good defense. Literally right after that, you get Nolan Smith, first round pick, 30th overall by the Eagles in 2023. I think it was one of their 2 first round picks. I'm pretty sure that was the year they also picked. Was that the year they picked Jalen Carter? I think that was the year they picked Jalen Carter. Yes, that was the year they picked Jalen Carter, who was also from Georgia, funnily enough. I know Nolan Smith, he's been on the field. He's been good. He's just been dealing with injuries a lot. I forget if he's on injured reserve again right now, but he was out for most of the year this year, but he's been playing the back half of the year. He's a linebacker, and been, one of the many reasons the Philly defense is very good. Anyway, though, back to the second quarter action in San Francisco. Purdy will take the snap and throw it. Looks like that was to George Kittle for about 6 yards on the catch and run off to the left side. 49ers still without a first down, though good initial play here on first for the San Francisco 49ers. Kittle, who had was out the last week with an ankle injury, is playing now. 2nd and 4 here for the 49ers. Kittle motions out a little bit. Now Juszczyk is motioning over to the right side. Purdy takes the snap, throws, finds Christian McCaffrey, who gets the first down for the 49ers over midfield. Catch and run for about 9 yards, I want to say, to the 46-yard line or the 47. McCaffrey, again, well, really this whole Niners offense, a bit quiet, but to start at least, but good catch and run there. So, like I said at the start, McCaffrey is chasing that 1,000-yard receiving season. He's at 899 yards now. Still needs a lot more to go. Purdy fakes the handoff to McCaffrey, now throws it to Juwan Jennings, who gets tackled by Reek Woolen for a 1-yard loss. Good tackle there from the Seattle cornerback, who had an insane rookie year, but has had struggles a lot recently in the years since. Reek Woolen, who is in his 4th year, I think, at this point. In his 4th year, a 5th-round pick in 2022 out of UTSA. So still an incredible value there for the Seahawks. He's just not quite living up to the expectations that he set at the start of his career. So 2nd 11 here, Purdy in shotgun. McCaffrey to his right, takes the snap. Purdy looking to throw over the middle. Will throw it, finds dropped instead, was looking for... Couldn't quite tell who that was, who's also injured now. What do you say, Gamecast? That is 80. I think that was, I don't know, that was Juwan Jennings, actually. Looked like it was someone else, but it was Juwan Jennings who had it in his hands, but couldn't quite secure the catch. Drake Thomas was on the coverage there, and Jennings was a little shaken up. He did walk off the field, so I think he's going to be okay, but in the end, it was incomplete, so 3rd and 11. Jennings is wincing in pain on the sidelines, but he did walk off under his own power, thankfully. But suddenly, the 49ers have now gone from a 1st and 10 to a 3rd and 11 in basically the blink of an eye. 10:27 left to go in the second quarter. And Purdy in shotgun again. McCaffrey now motions out of the backfield up to the slot. Purdy goes empty now, looks to throw, scrambles up, now will run for it, and will get over to the boundary and will get tackled just a few yards short of the first down. Ty Okada on the tackle there for Seattle. Basically saved a first down there. They're marking it as a 4th and 1 now, so 10 yards on the carry. Looked like he was a little bit shorter than that, but right now it's a 10-yard scramble. Niners are lining up to go for it, which is not surprising. They're in plus territory, and they're kind of behind the 8 ball on the offensive side of the ball at the moment. Juwan Jennings is also back in the huddle now, so he looks to be okay. But so, yeah, here, 4th and 1. Big play here for the 49ers. Purdy in shotgun. McCaffrey to his right. He will look to pass and will get a whistle instead. Looks like a timeout from the Seahawks. Yes, it is. So Seattle already down to 1 timeout in this first half. Obviously a big play here for the both teams, actually. And I think Mike McDonald might have been trying to challenge the play. Yeah, he did try and challenge the play, so he threw the challenge flag, but then I guess called the timeout right after, so I guess he's not. We're not getting a challenge. We're just getting a timeout. And it just because it looked to me like Purdy was multiple yards. Yeah, he steps out. He gets pushed out. So it should be a 4th and 4, not a 4th and 1. So I don't think with him calling timeout, Mike McDonald can actually challenge it anymore. But this should be a 4th and 4, not a 4th and 1. Or at least it may be a 4th and 3, depending on where you want to spot it. But there was a bit of a understanding challenger. Now Purdy lines up under center. Motions use check. Now fakes the handoff to McCaffrey. Looks to throw. Running out of time. Almost gets sacked. Gets the ball off and incomplete. Was trying to get it to use check as he was getting swarmed. But either way, incomplete pass. Niners get stood up on 4th and 1. Seahawk ball. So the Seahawks defense has come to play here in Week 18, and they stuffed the 49ers, only giving up the 1 first down. And while it was almost caught by Juszczyk, he wouldn't have got the first down anyway. There was pressure on him immediately, so great play design there by the Seattle Seahawks defense, and they forced a turnover on downs. So now we'll go back to the Georgia team, just because it's fun. So I left off at Nolan Smith. And then literally right after him, listed on the roster list, is Keely Ringo, who is a defensive back. I think he was drafted this year. No, he's actually drafted in 2023. Never mind. But also by the Eagles in the 4th round of 2023. And he's been sort of a nickel corner backup cornerback. I know he has not exactly been the most stellar cornerback, and has kind of been rotated out of the starting lineup with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, but he's still there. Can also find is Jalen Walker. That's Jalen Walker, the 15th overall pick in this past year's draft by the Atlanta Falcons. That Jalen Walker. I was gonna say I thought his name sounded familiar, but he is one of the 2 defensive ends pass rushers, I should say, that Atlanta drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. We also have another 2025 NFL draft defensive player that I actually mentioned earlier, Michael Williams, the 49ers 11th overall pick, who is unfortunately been on injured reserve for a little while now, but he was on that Georgia team. Let's see who else is there. Javon Bullard, I think. He was a 2024 second round pick by the Green Bay Packers. So it's a name that I recognize. I don't know how well he's played, but he's there. Tyke Smith is someone, again, a name I recognize. He's on the Buccaneers. I might have recognized him because he's probably playing in the game earlier today. But Tyke Smith, 2024 third round pick by the Buccaneers. Malachi Starks, who is the 2025 first round pick by the Baltimore Ravens at safety. I actually don't really know how he's been playing this year, to be honest. I haven't heard his name too much. I know he was very highly touted coming out of college. And I know a lot of Ravens fans were very happy to draft him, but I don't know exactly how he's played. Obviously, the Ravens defense has been very up and down this season. Anyway, back to the action. We'll get a play action here on first down from 39-yard line. Darnold going deep over the middle. Pass complete to JSN. Immediate, basically 15-plus yard completion there for the Seattle Seahawks. And they're once again over midfield. I think they're around the 45-yard line on that pass. JSN was working one-on-one, basically ran right back of the middle. Excellent protection for Darnold and hits the throw in stride to JSN. Big catch there. Under 10 minutes, actually now under 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Darnold, once again, having a really efficient start to the game in I formation here. Charbonnet in the backfield, actually not quite I formation, it's a little bit offset there, but Charbonnet will get only about a yard and a half on the first down run over to the left side. Alfred Collins was there in on the tackle for the 49ers. But yeah, this very much a Seattle game so far. Even if it's only 7-0, it's really been all Seattle. They just had a couple miscues in the in plus territory that have wound up resulting in no points. But getting to the 30 yards and in, or like the red zone essentially, has been kind of a breeze for them. Rashid Shaheed will be going in motion. Darnold under center hands it off to Kenneth Walker, who gets about 5 yards on the run. Looks like it'll be a 3rd and 4 here. Cleveland Ferrell was in there on the tackle, among others, I should say. So actually under 8 minutes now. The second quarter is going by pretty quickly. Seahawks, 19 of their 27 plays have been in 49ers territory. So 49ers very lucky that this game right now is only 7-0, because their defense is kind of getting run over at the moment. But they've been, and they've only broken once so far, but Seahawks have an opportunity to put some distance here early on in this game. Darnold in shotgun here alone. He will get pressured immediately, scramble up, and will run for the first down. Gets hit a little bit at the end, but not before he reaches the first down. Bailed out of a collapsing pocket very quickly, but had a lane to run. And on a 3rd and 4, Darnold would run for 5 yards. Tatum Bethune was there at the stop, but not before Darnold would reach the first down. So new set of downs here for the Seattle Seahawks as we get a stoppage of time here. We might have gotten a timeout. I know there's an injured player on the field. Not sure who it is. Think it's a Seahawk, so they're going to step away from the game real quick. Let's see. Does the Gamecast say who it is? I know it was actually a 49er. D. Winters was the injured 49er, the linebacker, 2023 6th round pick out of TCU. So just a lot of references to TCU this time around. It's a TCU and Georgia type of time. So anyway, let's go back, see if I can breeze through these last few players that I recognize. Obviously, there's Jalen Carter there at the end, and I think that's everyone that I recognize there for Georgia. And Jalen Carter, the 9th overall pick in the 2023 draft by the Eagles, has been very, very good when he's on the field. Has had some off-the-field issues, but overall, been basically a home run pick for the Eagles in his young career so far. All right, so I've exhausted that little little rabbit hole to down on that I can distract during commercial time. So I think, what should I go over next? I think for now I'm gonna just pause my recording and come back when the commercial break is over, so I can just go back to the game. So D. Winter is able to walk off under his own power going into the blue medical tent. I heard Joe Buck say that someone stepped on his leg, so that obviously hurts a lot, but hopefully it's nothing major. So 1st and 10 here for the Seattle Seahawks in San Francisco territory. Been dominating time of possession so far, even if it's only 7-0. We get a shot of Nick Bosa up in one of the suites. He tore his ACL back in week 3 and has not played since, unfortunately, for the 49ers. So from the 31-yard line, Darnold under center will hand it off to Kenneth Walker, who goes right up the middle for 6 yards. Tackled there by multiple 49ers. Yetur Gross-Matos was there on the tackle. Just one of the best football names there. Yetur Gross-Matos. 2020 second-round pick out of Penn State by Carolina. Kind of a rotational piece for them at defensive end for San Francisco now. But he was one of the guys there on the tackle. So 2nd and 4 now, right behind the 25-yard line for the 49ers. Handoff to Kenneth Walker again. Breaks a couple tackles and is able to get the first down. Although we do have a flag down, so if this is not against Seattle, it will be a first down for them. Though it is against Seattle, a hold on the Seahawks. So I'll get is actually on Gray Zabel, who has otherwise been having a pretty good game. So we will go to a 2nd and 14. And, well, I mean, a little bit of a hold there. I guess I can see it, yeah. It's might not have been the most egregious call in the world, but I could see it. So 2nd 11, I don't know. Oh, I guess because the hold was actually downfield, that's why. So 2nd 11 for the Seahawks back at the 32-yard line. Darnold look to throw. Will complete it to his tight end. That is, who is that? Is that A.J. Barner? I think that's A.J. Barner. That is, in fact, A.J. Barner, but only for a couple yards. So 3rd and 6 now for the Seahawks. So it seems like the Seahawks are kind of stalling a little bit when they get in or towards the red zone, but we'll see if they are able to convert the 3rd down here. Barner was able to make the catch there with some good coverage, but again, not able to get to the first down marker by any means. 3rd and 6 here. Darnold in shotgun. Zach Charbonnet to his right. 3 wide receivers and a tight end. Darnold looks to throw. Has good protection. Throwing it deep. Looking for JSN. And that is into double coverage and incomplete. Throw was a little bit behind. And good defensive play there by Renardo Green, among others. So 4th and 6 here. The field goal team will be coming on. And JSN put on a good move on Renardo Green. The throw was just forced JSN to kind of hold up a little bit. And by then, Green and also the safety, Jair Brown, were able to converge and disrupt the pass long enough. So Jason Myers now on for a 45-yard attempt. He missed from 47 earlier. And the kick is up. This time, though, it is good. So 10-0 Seattle in a game that they have dominated very much so far. We'll see if the 49ers offense with 5:19 left to go in the second quarter can actually wake up. But for now, though, they're going to commercial. And I'm going to pause real quick so I can write down some notes for my recap on Tuesday. And I will be back for you in just a moment for the ensuing kickoff and offensive drive by the 49ers. All right, we're back to the ensuing kickoff. This will be kind of a dribbler and actually go out of bounds. So, again, one of the few mistakes made by the Seahawks now. 2 of them actually have been by Jason Myers. This time he obviously missed the field goal earlier and now has put a kickoff out of bounds. So the 49ers will get the ball at their own 40-yard line. Still, with how their offense has been playing so far, Well, they need all the help they can get at the moment. But yeah, this is when the Seahawks or when the 49ers really need to wake up here, because down 10-0 honestly feels like a lot more because they've just been getting just completely demolished on both lines of scrimmage on offense and defense. So Purdy will take the ball and shotgun look to throw, and that screen pass goes absolutely nowhere. Nick Emanwari read it like a book, and huge tackle for loss there. I think that was to Juszczyk on the pass. But Nick Emanwari, their second round pick at safety, actually it was to George Kittle was the pass. But Emanwari, just very, very well done. Basically just gets around the offensive linemen that were trying to set up the blocks for Kittle. And the young safety out of South Carolina, huge play to start this drive for the Seahawks defense that has been having a lights-out game so far. Purdy back to pass throws, checks it down to McCaffrey, who gets about 3 yards. Tackled there by Devin Witherspoon. He is pumped up. No surprise there. And another 3rd and long here for the 49ers. They basically just got back to 3rd and 10. So they went back 6 yards. They got 6 yards. Now 3rd and 10. I just got the hiccups for some reason. I have no idea why. So I'll try not to have that disrupt me too much. I had dinner, but that was like an hour ago. Actually, it was more than an hour ago. Anyway, Purdy in shotgun. Juwan Jennings in motion. Purdy looks to throw. Pocket collapsing. Able to step out of a sack first. Now throws and hits his man, Juwan Jennings, for a first down. There are actually 2 receivers right next to each other. I think that was also Demarcus Robinson, who was basically standing right next to Juwan Jennings. So I'm not sure if that was quite the route that was intended, but either way, they were both kind of open as well. So first down there for the 49ers. Huge first down for them. They really needed that. Seahawks pass rush almost got home, but Purdy stepped up just enough and found Juwan Jennings for basically a 12-yard completion. Got around Devin Witherspoon, who got tangled up a little bit, and one of them, either Jennings or Robinson, ran the wrong route, but didn't matter in the end. This is Brian Robinson Jr. taking the handoff around the left side for about 5 or 6 yards. B-Rob, former Washington Commander, was their 3rd round pick in 2021. I think one of the 2 they had, and was solid for them. I like B-Rob. He was fun. He wasn't a very explosive guy. Like he had pretty poor hole recognition as a running back, and was traded this offseason to the 49ers for I think a 5th round pick, since he basically just got replaced by Bill Krosky-Merritt. So Purdy under center here. Looks like B-Rob is still the back here. Fake to him. Gets pressured immediately in his face. Is able to complete it to Kittle, who breaks a tackle and actually gets the first down there on 2nd and 4. So Kittle gets about 6 yards on the catch and run. Purdy basically got pressure immediately on his face when he was trying to roll to his right, but was able to get it out just in time to George Kittle. So back-to-back, or two first downs on this drive, which is kind of more than they've had so far. So the first promising drive, pressure there by DeMarcus Lawrence. But the first promising drive for the 49ers really all night. They're in Seahawks territory on the 37-yard line. Looks like McCaffrey is back in the game. We'll get to the 2-minute warning, however, for this game. So going pretty quick, actually, so far. 10-0 Seahawks in the second quarter. And let's see if I can figure out something else fun to talk about. Let's see. So I've been playing through my Metroid Prime 4 Let's Play. I think I'm almost done with that. I'm not quite sure what I want to do next. I'll probably take like a couple weeks off before I do my next Let's Play, I think, because I want to work on other stuff as well. And I've got some YouTube videos in the works. I'm gonna try and start a new scripted series that is gonna be like a summarization sort of. Just doing a Star Wars topic for my first one. I'm in the scripting process. I found that I'm not the biggest fan of scripting so far, but that might change sometime later. But yeah, I've gotten a majority of it scripted right now. I got a good chunk of it done today. So I don't know how long it's going to take to edit, but that's pretty fun. For my second Let's Play, I might want to do. I've been thinking of doing Star Wars Empire at War just to do something very different. I'm a little unsure because it's a Star Wars property that uses Star Wars music, and I know that Star Wars music in terms of like copyright on YouTube and all that is a bit dicey. So I'm not sure there, but that's one because I want to do a game that I know, like not a blind let's play for my second one, and that's a game that's like I feel like not many people have done like an actual let's play on it, at least recently, because it's a very old game, or at least fairly old game. It came out in 2007, I think, which at this rate is actually almost 20 years ago at this point. We are now in 2026, so that is. I don't want to talk about that at all. Anyway, if I decide not to do Empire at War because of the copyright stuff, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next. Yeah, but I'll figure it out there. I had a thought in my mind of what I wanted to talk about next, and it just kind of evaporated. Luckily, the broadcast is back, though, so it kind of saved me. Yeah, we are past 2 minutes. Pretty much been all Seahawks so far, though the 49ers are finally starting to wake up on offense. We get a shot of Darnold and Cooper Kupp and Rashid Shaheed on the sidelines. Really just the whole Seahawks offense going over something. So 1st and 10 for the 49ers. 2 minutes exactly on the clock. My broadcast is buffering. Oh no. All right, handoff here to McCaffrey. Got back just in time. He will get about 3 yards on the carry. Byron Murphy, the second in there with some other Seahawks for the stop. They're showing most career receptions in 49ers history. Terrell Owens, third at 592. George Kittle, who just passed him at 593. And then, of course, Jerry Rice, who is at 1,281 receptions. Because Jerry Rice just has to have every single reception record ever because he was just that good. All right. Single back. McCaffrey gets it. Actually, a bit of double reverse here. Back to Purdy, who throws it over to McCaffrey and in the end gets about 5 yards on the trick play. It was like Purdy handed it off to McCaffrey, who ran, then pitched it back to one of the receivers, who then pitched it back to Purdy, like 10 yards into the backfield, and threw it over to McCaffrey over by the sideline for about 5 yards. So a lot of action for not a ton of yards. 3rd and 3 now for the Seahawks. Why do I keep saying the Seahawks when it's 49? I'm thinking San Francisco, and then I say Seahawks. But no, the 49ers. 3rd and 3 for them. 1:17 left to go. Purdy, empty back formation and shotgun. He looks to throw. Scanning the field now, looks to run. Will get tripped up there back to the line of scrimmage. So that will be a 4th down, probably 4th down 3. I don't know if they're going to count that as a sack or not. Might go down as a sack depending on how they do it. That is, where is he? Uchenna Nwosu was there. I think he actually just got a recent extension. And basically slapped Brock Purdy right on the foot as he was trying to scramble out of the pocket for a 1st down, and instead was about like a half-yard loss on the sack. So 4th and 3 here. Looks like I'm assuming the Niners are going to kick the field goal, maybe? The Seahawks took their final timeout, so I think that's actually what the stoppage is for. The Seahawks did it again. The 49ers are sending out Eddie Pinheiro, who is 41-50 in his career from between 40 and 49 yards. This season, he is 9 for 9. This is a 48-yard attempt for the 49ers kicker. I believe he was once on the Panthers and also the Bears, if I remember correctly. This time, Pinheiro from 48 is down and through. It was kind of over to the right of the, or on the right side of the goalpost, but well within them. 10-3 Seattle at the moment. About a minute left to go. We get a look at Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, who has actually been contracted by, I think, the Miami Dolphins to assist in their next general manager search, if I remember that little news blurb correctly. No idea if that's going to be any good, but it's interesting to see. Because I don't remember the last time Aikman was like actually participating in NFL executive operations and not just being a broadcaster. But yeah, should be curious to see what it's going to be there. So there's 1:06 left to go in the first half. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do much for halftime. I think I might just skip over that entirely and come back for the third quarter. Eddie Pinheiro is going to kick it off here to the Seahawks. I think that is Rashid Shaheed taking it. He's going to run it out and get to the 30-yard line, get a little bit more, and tackle up at the 35-yard line. So minute exactly on the clock here. Seahawks have plenty of time, though no timeouts left. D. Winters is walking into the locker room. He is questionable with an ankle injury, so hopefully he is okay. Not sure if we'll see him back for the rest of this game, but injuries always suck. So yeah, minute left to go exactly. No timeouts, but with how this Seahawks offense has been driving, I wouldn't be surprised if they get some points out of this. So shotgun formation here, Cooper Kupp in motion, Zach Charbonnet to Darnold's right. He will take the snap, look to throw, scans the field, and will get sacked, actually. So first sack of the night for the 49ers. Sam Okuwanu on the tackle. I guess that's actually how you pronounce his name, from what I heard from Joe Buck. So more vowels in there than I expected, but Okuwanu is how you pronounce it. He makes the play there. Basically just fought off the left tackle that is Josh Jones, the left tackle. So 6-yard loss there and a major time loss as well. So I think the Seahawks now are going a bit more passive, and Darnold will just barely get the pass off on the check down to A.J. Barner, and he will get a few yards. And as the clock winds down very quickly, third down and medium, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Doesn't look like the Seahawks will be getting a play off, so I said that the Seahawks have been playing well on offense and that they could get some points off on the board potentially. Instead, Sam Okuwanu said no. No sirree. So a little bit of momentum there for the 49ers going into halftime. They get the field goal and they get a nice little stop there on defense, and they get the ball to start the second half, unless I'm completely misremembering things. But I'm pretty sure it was the Seahawks who got the ball first. And yeah, so that will do it for the first half, 10-3 Seahawks. And I think I'm just going to see you all for the start of the second. All right, we're back for the second half. It's starting here in a couple minutes. I'll just go over some stats here while we're waiting. Just kind of read through the box score so far. So Sam Darnold sitting at 10 of 13 passing for 98 total yards. 98 I guess gross yards maybe, has been sacked twice. So actually I was wrong when I said that was the first sack that the Niners got at the end of the first half. But he has been sacked twice for 17 yards, so sitting at a net total passing yards of 81. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy is also 10 of 13, though he is only thrown for 47 gross yards. Has been sacked twice for only 1 yard total yards of loss, so he is at a net 46 passing yards. As for the rushing attack, this is where it's really... The disparity is really big right now. So Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker have both carried the ball 9 times. Charbonnet has rushed for 60 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker has rushed 50 yards. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, Purdy is actually their longest rusher, 1 carry for 10 yards. McCaffrey's ran the ball 3 times for 7 yards. And then B-Rob has run it 1 time for 6 yards. So 23 to 115 total rushing yards for the Seahawks compared to the 49ers. Luckily for the 49ers, they will be getting the ball here in a second as Jason Myers is kicking off. And snap is actually bobbled a little bit here by, I think that looks to be Brian Robinson Jr. He will then basically just fall down about not very far. Not even sure if he got 10 total yards. Actually, I think it was Sky Moore. Was that Sky Moore? Hang on. Gamecast, what do you say? What do you say, Gamecast? It was Brian Robinson. Okay, I feel like I've never seen him on special teams before. At least I never saw him in Washington. So not a great start for the 49ers. All right. I'll go over the receiving yards in a little bit. So Purdy hands the ball off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey will run up the middle for about 6 yards on the carry to start the third quarter. For receiving yards, real quick, for Seattle, JSN has 4 catches for 52 yards. Kenneth Walker, 2 catches for 21 yards. A.J. Barner, 2 catches for 14 yards. Eric Sauburn, 1 for 9. Rashid Shaheed, 1 for 2. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, Juwan Jennings, 3 for 19. McCaffrey, 3 for 18. Juszczyk, 1 for 5. And George Kittle, 3 for 5. That should be it for the first half stats. 2nd and 5 here. Handoff to McCaffrey. He will get wrapped up basically at the line of scrimmage, get about 1 yard on the carry. So already in third down here for the 49ers, who have struggled mightily on offense so far, have not really been testing downfield all that much. It's been a lot of runs that have not generated all that much progress and short passes. So, I mean, there's a reason why they only have 3 points right now. Shotgun formation here for the 49ers. Purdy will fake the handoff to McCaffrey. Instead, look to throw. Will throw it downfield and connect with Demarcus Robinson. Is he the second? Actually, don't remember off the top of my head. But Demarcus Robinson is I'm thinking of Allen Robinson the second. That's who it was. But yeah, Demarcus Robinson, longtime Los Angeles Ram, if I remember correctly, was a 2016 4th-round pick by Kansas City. So he's been in the league for a little while. Was on the Rams the last couple of seasons, but he picks up the first down on about 10 to 15 yard pass, something like that. Let's see, what does it say? 13-yard pass, that's what it was. Purdy will fake the handoff here on the play action. Now looks to throw, finds McCaffrey over the middle for about 8 yards on the pass. Tackled there by Drake Thomas. So the Niners escape the early third down situation. Now 2nd and 3. McCaffrey is going to take a breather for this play. And they are starting to get out of their own territory after the bobbled kickoff return by Brian Robinson Jr. Single back formation here. Purdy will fake the handoff and then throw to George Kittle. He will get 4 yards, but he will also get the first down. So fake the handoff, throw it to Kittle on the weak side, and convert the first down. Good tackle there on the play by Ty Okada to save more yards because Kittle certainly had a good bit of room to run, but the tackle there was made, so only just the first down and nothing more. So 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line for San Francisco. Handoff, draw play to Brian Robinson, gets about 4 yards up to the 45. So a gain of 3 yards, actually. And seeing good bit of Brian Robinson so far, interestingly enough. McCaffrey is not quite exploded on the scene like he usually does. Again, to be fair, not many players on the 49ers offense at all have exploded too much. And this is a Niners team that has offensively been playing pretty well the past couple weeks. So right now it's a bit of a different story. So single back here, Brian Robinson once again in the backfield. Juwan Jennings in motion. Purdy will take the handoff, fake it to Brian Robinson, and get sacked instead. The pocket collapsed pretty quickly. Purdy tried to step up, and it was not the case. Jaron Reed was there for the sack. Big sack there as well for makes it a 3rd down and long. And good pressure just all around. Exterior pressure forced Purdy up, and then Jaron Reed shed his blocker and completed the sack for a big loss on 2nd down. 3rd and 13 now for the 49ers after the sack. Purdy is in shotgun. McCaffrey to his left. Purdy will take it. Look to throw. Pocket holds up initially, now throws and did get pressure there right in his face at the end. Got knocked down, and the throw is incomplete. Well, I think he was trying to get it to Kendrick Bourne, but the sudden pressure, it was like it was looking good, and then sort of a delayed blitz down the middle from the linebacker was able to get through and forced Purdy to throw off his back foot as he was getting pressured. And incomplete pass. So another punt here from Thomas Morstead to Rashid Shaheed. And the 49ers, with their first drive of the third quarter, do nothing. Shaheed takes it around the 17-yard line, makes a move, now has a lot of room to run. Here goes Rashid Shaheed out over to past the 35-yard line. And looked like he had a lot of room, but the Niners punt coverage was able to get around and stop him just before he was really able to break it off. But still, return yard for about 20. More good field position here for the Seahawks, who have been having a game so far here. It is only one score game, I'll reiterate, but it's largely been all Seahawks so far this game. So in the meantime, let's see if I can find something fun to talk about instead. You know what? Let's do a draft recap. Let's go to the 2025 draft, and let's do a draft recap real quick. Or at least start to. Right, James Cook was on this team? How did I miss James Cook? Wait, no, he was on the team before. Never mind. He was on Georgia. He was just he was drafted in 2022. Never mind. Okay. Let's go to the 2025 draft. And we'll start let's just have a little fun here. Because why not? So first overall pick in 2025, and I'm just going to do the first round also. I'm going to say that. In 2020, so the first overall pick in 2025 was Cam Ward, the quarterback out of Miami who went to Tennessee. And overall, I think Cam Ward's, like, all things considered, he's having a solid year. Like, obviously the situation he went into was terrible. It has not gotten better. It was what's his name? Who was the head coach who got fired? I'm blanking on his name. Brian Callahan, that's his name. He was terrible, and he probably should not have been coaching this season to begin with. And the offense under him to start the season was just incredibly boring. Just the worst. And yeah, you gotta hope that Cam Ward is able to, like, forget a lot of what he saw in his first season, because it's just bad. But there's still plenty of optimism for the Titans. He's shown a lot of flashes, especially these past few weeks. He's shown some pretty good flashes here and there of some, like, real good talent. Like, he's a good mobile quarterback, and you get him a lot of weapons, get him a better offensive line, and you could have something there. So the second overall pick was Travis Hunter, the cornerback / wide receiver and Heisman Trophy winner out of Colorado. He went to Jacksonville, who traded up a few spots from pick 5. Also traded away their first round pick next year, I believe. Or I guess it's now this year, actually, technically, because we're in 2026. And I'll get back to that set because we are now back to the game. I'll get back to Travis Hunter because I think that's something I can fill in commercial time wise. So Darnold will fake the handoff to Kenneth Walker, then check it down to him for about 1.5 yards on first down for to make it 2nd and 8. So under 10 minutes now in the third quarter. 49ers did nothing with their first drive and really haven't done much with any of their drives outside of their lone field goal scoring drive. Darnold in shotgun here, trips to the right. Looks like Kenneth Walker is to his left. Now Rashid Shaheed goes in motion to the left side, make it 2-2 for receivers. Darnold, immediate pressure, now dumps it off to Kenneth Walker, who has a blocker and room to run, gets the first down and a little bit more. So gain of about 15 on the little check down pass there. So good little dump off for Darnold on the check down screen pass, however you want to call it. Gray Zabel was out there to block. And Walker picks up the first down. There's a free rusher going into Darnold's face, but he got the very short pass off just in time. And Kenneth Walker, 50 rushing yards, 36 receiving yards so far in this game. 86 total scrimmage yards. Darnold under center tosses it to Kenneth Walker, who has a pretty decent hole over on the right side. Bounces off a tackle, spins for a little bit more, gets about 7 on the carry before the whistle is blown. So another positive yardage play, like good positive yardage play on first down for the Seahawks. It feels like every time they're running a play on first down, especially a run play on first down, they'll get at least 3 or 4, if not more yards. And this play was no exception. They're going to mark it 8 yards on first down. So outside of really the occasional sack or penalty, we basically just have not seen the Seahawks in a second or third down and long situation. So single back set, Darnold under center. He will hand it off to Kenneth Walker, who gets hit in the backfield. Good tackle there by Malik Mustafa. And it saved a first down there, 3rd and 2. Looks like we have an injured player here. Who is that? Charles Cross, who was listed as out, but was actually playing. He's listed as inactive, so I think Joe Buck might have misspoke. That's not Charles Cross. That's Josh Jones. Okay. They might have been saying that he was in place for Charles Cross. Okay, Josh Jones, who is their current starting left tackle with Charles Cross out, got rolled up a little bit on the play, so they have gone to injury timeout here, which means I can go back to the draft since we're going to be in commercial for a little bit here. So yeah, we're talking about Travis Hunter, and he had a bit of an odd start to his career. So Jacksonville traded up for him, and I like the trade up, to be honest, even if it was price was a bit steep. But Jacksonville needed both a wide receiver and a defensive back, and unfortunately, defensively it seemed like Hunter was playing pretty well. As a wide receiver, it wasn't quite. He wasn't making too many big plays, but it seemed like when they started to figure out how he was going to play, how his role was going to be defined on the team, he unfortunately got injured and has been out on injured reserve for the rest of the season. That was back in week 11, I think. So big bummer there for Travis Hunter. And luckily for him, at least, he's going to stay in a pretty good situation because the Jags have been a pretty solid team overall. A really good team over the past month or so. We'll just hope that his injury doesn't really sap the special talent that he has in terms of athleticism. But so far, it's if he can come back and play, as expected, this Jags team could be a real threat over the next couple of years. So pick number 3 was Abdul Carter to the New York Giants. Abdul Carter, defensive end out of Penn State. And he was very highly touted going out. He was widely regarded as one of the best prospects in this draft. And so he had a lot of expectations and a lot of hopes for going to the Giants, especially, going opposite of Brian Burns, who's having an amazing season. I think he's 16 and a half sacks on the season or something like that. And you also have Kayvon Thibodeau in there as well. So he's having an okay season. I know there's been some maturity questions as well. So I think it's been overall a bit of a disappointing season compared to the expectations that I think a lot of people set for Abdul Carter, but it's not a bust or anything like that for his season. But I think there's a lot left on the table, essentially. So we're back to the game. 3rd and 2 here. Darnold under center once again. Zach Charbonnet now the back for the Seahawks. No wide receivers out wide at this point. Will be a handoff to Charbonnet. He starter steps, will try and break a tackle, but will not. Get wrapped up in the backfield. Huge tackle there by Diamador Lenore. I believe that's who it was. Yes, it was. So had Lenore not made the tackle, there's a good chance Charbonnet would have been able to run for the first down, but instead it is a tackle for a loss. Huge open field tackle by the cornerback. Yeah, they definitely would have at least gotten really close to getting the first down there had Lenore not made the tackle there. So big play by the cornerback out of, where did he go? Out of Oregon, actually. 2021 5th round pick. He's been a very nice find for the 49ers there out of Oregon. So punt, fair caught there by Sky Moore around the 9-yard line. So teams have traded punts here to start the third quarter. Looks like, unfortunately, they will be going to commercial break, even though we just had a commercial like 2 plays ago. But hey, it gives me time to go back to the draft. So after Abdul Carter, we get to Will Campbell, the offensive tackle out of LSU, who everyone was saying he had really short arms coming out, which is kind of the wingspan, my wingspan and all that. But he went to the Patriots at 4th overall. And from what I've seen, he's been having a pretty good rookie season. Patriots as a whole, they've been one of the best teams in football in terms of record-wise and have completely turned themselves around. And I'm sure Will Campbell has certainly helped in that regard. So I don't think Patriots fans are going to complain with him. So at pick 5, it was Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, going to the Cleveland Browns. This was the spot where Jacksonville was picking, but they traded up for Travis Hunter instead. And I think from what I've seen, Graham hasn't quite been like super flashy so far, but he's been playing solid and especially developing over the past like month or so from everything I've seen. He just hasn't quite, really hit that next stride that I think Browns fans would be hoping out of the 5th overall pick. But I mean, there's still plenty of room to grow, and I don't think they're super unhappy with him, and they're certainly not unhappy with this draft. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The Browns have had one of the best drafts out of any team so far in the 2025 draft out of the one season we've seen, because they've had a bunch of contributors in the later rounds that they picked. Pick 6 was a big one. Ashton Jeanty, the superstar running back out of Boise State, who was just going off. He was my vote for the Heisman. I thought he should have won the Heisman Trophy because he was playing insanely well. He went to Vegas, and it's the Raiders. I said it before when I talked about Brock Bowers in the first half when I was going over that Georgia team. The Raiders are just incompetent, and when they actually have started to use Ashton Jeanty now, like correctly, he's been pretty good. It's just they weren't using him really all that well, or even at all. And the football terrorist, the football terrorist that is Chip Kelly, has been finally removed from Vegas, so they can actually play football now. I'll sneak in one more before we get in, hopefully. So Arvon Membu, the offensive tackle out of Missouri, went to the Jets at pick 7. And from literally everything I've seen, he's been amazing. Like one of the better picks in the draft so far. So anyway, back to the game now. Hand off to Christian McCaffrey from the 9-yard line. Gets about 4 yards on the carry. As we're getting about halfway through, a little past halfway through actually, the third quarter. So 2nd and 7 here, 6.5 left to go in the third. Again, despite the pretty dominant first half that the Seahawks had, it's still a 1-score game. So if the 49ers are able to march down the field, score a touchdown here, we have a whole new ball game. But they have a lot of field to go. They're only on their 11.5-yard line. And 2nd and 7. Purdy in shotgun sends, looks like use check in motion. Purdy will throw it to McCaffrey for about a 5-ish yard gain, 5.5 yard gain. So it's going to be 3rd and short. Once again, Niners just not really trying to stretch the field downfield all that much. A lot of short passes so far. And another 3rd and short here. There's a lot of 3rd down so far for the 49ers. They are having a rough go of things on 3rd down so far this season. Definitely could be better from the graphs that I'm seeing on ESPN. They're 2 for 7 on 3rd down tonight with an average of 7.7 yards to go. This is certainly shorter, 3rd and 2. Purdy looks to throw. He will throw. Throws it high to, is that Sky Moore or Brian Robinson? Actually, no, it's DeMarcus Robinson. He is tackled by Devin Witherspoon and short of the sticks, more importantly. So it's a 4th and 1. Robinson was basically at the yard to gain, but the throw kind of brought him back a little bit, and a good tackle by Witherspoon to keep him from reaching for the first down yard marker. So they needed 2, and they got 1. And that's side little tangent here. I despise play calls when on 3rd down, when it's like you run those like little curl or whatever routes to basically like stop at the line to go. It's like run it like 2 yards deeper, please, because you always get brought back by the pass, and you're always going to wind up 1 yard short like you did this. it's something that happens with the Commanders all the time. By the way, the punt was a fair catch called at the 31-yard line. But I see this happen with the Commanders all the time where, time and time again in the past 2 years, you get like a third down and whatever, and the pass would go to Zach Ertz, and he would catch it like a yard short of the first down yardage marker and like just not have the athleticism to get to the first down marker. So it's like, why not just have him run a yard or two further? It's just so frustrating. And I'm sure Niners fans are frustrated there as well, because it's like, you need 2 yards. Why are you throwing in 1 yard, basically? It's just not productive at all. I don't understand. But anyway, back to the draft. So we were at Armand Mambu, and I haven't heard about him too much recently, but from what I saw, he was playing well. So pick 8, we got Tetairoa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, to the Carolina Panthers, and he's been very, very solid. I'm pretty sure he's broken 1,000 yards on the season. His regular season is actually over. Potentially season period is over, since there's a chance the Panthers do not make it to the playoffs. And let's see, statistics. There we go. Let's say it. Where are his NFL statistics? Wikipedia. Where'd they go? Where did they go? I don't know. But anyway, I'm pretty sure T-Mac is over. I'm pretty sure T-Mac is over 1,000 yards. How did I get to this? Oh, because I clicked Arizona instead of Tetairoa McMillan. That's why it was just showing. Okay. And let's see. Of course, it doesn't actually show his stats there. Okay. As of week 17, he had 929 yards. I don't think he got enough for 1,000 in the final game of the season. It was close, actually. I'm pretty sure. Let me check on the ESPN app, because that might say there. So brief little sidetrack here to check Tetairoa McMillan's stats. Let's see. They're just, and not missing anything in game right now. They're just going over, doing a little fun graphic to show the Seahawks journey. Okay. Let's see. Box score. Tetairoa McMillan had 85. So actually, he did. He finished with 1,014 yards. So yeah, Tetairoa McMillan, he's one of kind of the front runners at this point for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I wouldn't be super surprised if he wins it. So back to the game here. 1st and 10 for the Seahawks on their own 32-yard line, actually. Darnold stumbles on the handoff, fumbles, but Charbonnet is able to recover it. There was almost a disaster. Was trying to hand it off to Charbonnet, stumbled, fumbled, and there was a Niner. I think it was Sam Okwonu who was. Oh, no, it was not him. It was, who was it? 94. Who should have had it. Who is 94 on the 49ers? Where? Jordan Elliott? No, he's 92. I found like 93, 95. CJ West, perhaps? Nope. Keon White? Nope. It was Yetur Gross-Matos. That's what it was. He almost had it, but instead, just a 7-yard loss on the fumble. Darnold now looks to throw on 2nd down. We'll throw it over the middle and incomplete, looking for A.J. Barner. So yeah, it was that 1st down play. Darnold was trying to hand it off to Zach Charbonnet. He might have gotten stepped on one of his own offensive linemen and fell down. The handoff was botched, and Gross-Matos, who was kind of in the backfield already, almost had it, but didn't quite corral it, and then Charbonnet was able to fall on it and prevent disaster, because it would have set up the Niners in prime field position. Instead, now it is a 3rd and 17, so first real disaster, or like bad drive for the Seahawks at the moment. This is a simple toss play to the right to Kenneth Walker, who actually has a lot of room. He's actually going to get the 1st down. Oh my goodness. Wow. Looked like the Seahawks were just trying to play it safe there. Tossed to Kenneth Walker, ran it around the right side, had a bunch of good blocking, and needed 17, got 18. Wow. It's some incredible blocking, I will say, by the Seahawks, their entire team. And then Walker cuts it back a little bit, gets tackled, but is able to roll over. John Lynch, the GM for the 49ers, is very unhappy. And Kenneth Walker pulls a rabbit out of his hat and is now 1st and 10 Seahawks at their own 39-yard line. Kenneth Walker now has over 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Well deserved for how he's been playing. Darnold looks to throw, finds Jackson Smith-Njigba right over the middle. Big pass play. Looks like about 20 yards on the play. Thinking one of my friends is playing War Thunder, who I haven't seen in a little while, so I'll have to message him on Discord. Just got the Steam notification for that. But yeah, Seahawks offense, which was suddenly dying, is now back in the swing of things in 2 big plays right here. Kind of not the best throw in the world. Smith-Njigba had to contort his body a little bit as the throw was behind him, but makes a great catch now on the 49ers 42-yard line. Run play here. No, play action. Darnold looks to pass, was looking deep, now checks it down to Charbonnet. Charbonnet has some room to run. He will sketch past a couple 49ers defenders. Looks like, will they give him the first down? Looks like they will. So he got 11 on the catch and run. 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And the Seahawks offense is rolling, though. They're reaching the territory where they do stall out. And we might have a clock stoppage here. Might have a timeout. Either that or an injured player, one of the two. I think it is Yetur Gross-Matos, who is the injured player from the looks of things for the 49ers. Never mind, it is Tatum Ben-Thew. Yeah, that's who it is. Their middle linebacker. He is the one who's injured at the moment. So hopefully he is okay. So with that, we will go back. I don't know why I started to turn into like a supervillain there. Yes, we'll go back to the 2025 first round. Yeah. Anyway, I am very silly sometimes, or at least I try to be. So we left off at Tedero Millen at pick 8. Pick 9 was Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle out of Texas, who went to New Orleans. And from, again, similar to Armand Membu, you don't really see too much usually out of offensive tackles, or just really offensive linemen in general, of like how they're playing. But from what I've seen, he's been playing pretty well. And good pick there for the Saints. And I think they're pretty happy with their draft right now. You get him and then Tyler Shuck in the second round. And I think they had some pretty good players as well later on. All right, so back to the game now. Minute 45 and counting. Love to go in the third quarter. 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line for the Seattle Seahawks. Darnold in shotgun looks to throw. Will throw it to... Oh, no, actually, it was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Alfred Collins was there for the pass deflection. So incomplete pass, 2nd and 10. Was looking for Eric Saubert on the play. Would have been for about 5 yards on the pass, but instead it goes for nothing. Good little pass. Well, I say little, but Collins is a pretty big dude. Big pass deflection there. And 2nd and 10. Darnold in shotgun again. Saubert in motion. Actually, I think it was A.J. Barner. Yeah, he was looking for AJ Barner. Handoff to Zach Charbonnet here, though. Charbonnet will get about a yard on the play, going up the middle. This time the 49ers run defense was there to make the tackle. So 3rd down and 9 here, and this has kind of been the story of the Seahawks offense this game. They get to the red zone, or at least get to near the red zone, and then just kind of start to flounder a little bit. We'll see if they can convert a 3rd down here. But, you know, it's been the story where they are able to move the ball well, like kind of in between the 30s, but once they get close, it's starting to, they start to freeze up a little bit. So Darnold in the shotgun, Cooper Kupp in motion, Zach Charbonnet to his right. Darnold will take the pass, look to throw, will throw it, contact there with Rashid Shaheed. Will we get a flag? Yes, we will. Looks like, I think that was Renardo Green on the coverage, guarding Rashid Shaheed, and we'll get pass interference on the defense. Definitely looked like there was some contact there. Renardo Green was called for it. And he was working on the outside one-on-one against Shaheed. Shaheed broke inside, and Green just kind of held up. Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Just held him up a little bit around the chest plate. Really hindered his movements, and yeah, that one, pretty obvious. George Kittle was shocked. Don't think he's super happy about it, but Obviously, I understand why he's not happy about it. Darnold wasn't happy about the hold, but obviously he's happy that he got the call. Just wasn't happy that there was contact there in the first place. So I formation here for the Seahawks on first down. Hand off to Kenneth Walker. He will try and bounce it to the outside, but he will get nowhere. Nowhere at all. That was Keon White on the tackle there. A loss of 2. It's coming around the end, and some good pressure up the middle as well by the 49ers to just completely stuff that run. So 2nd and 12 here, 28 seconds. Probably going to be the final play, unless we have an incompletion or something. Good chance this is the last play of the third quarter. I formation again here for Seahawks. Jackson Smith-Njigba goes in motion. Darnold fakes the handoff, now pitches it forward to Charbonnet, who's going to get about 5 yards on the play. So little bit of trickery there on the Seahawks part, and that will take us to the end of the third quarter. So I am going to save the more of the 2025 draft for the fourth quarter. I'll just pause and come back for the last quarter of this game. All right, we're back with the fourth quarter now. Just 15 minutes left to go in this crucial Week 18 matchup. Seahawks have the ball in the red zone of the 49ers. They are up 10-3 at the moment. So pretty big play here. Could decide whether this is a 13-3 game or potentially a 17-3 game. Ball on the 14-yard line of the 49ers. Shotgun for Darnold. Zach Charbonnet on his left. Cup out wide, motions back in a little bit. Darnold will look to throw, gets pressure early on, bails out of the pocket, throws check down to Eric Saubert, and he is brought down very quickly, so it is a 4th down. That, I believe, was Upton Stout on the tackle. And yes, it was Upton Stout on the tackle out of Western Kentucky. Saubert, the second string tight end, was out of Drake, who I actually had mentioned that earlier. This will bring on Jason Myers, who missed from 47, made from 45. This will be from 31. So either way, this is going to be, this will make it a 2-score game if he makes it. I'm sure the Seahawks would have won on a touchdown, but instead they will get a field goal out of it, as the field goal is good. Seahawks now go up by 10 with 14-15 left to go in this fourth quarter. The 49ers offense, which has been largely silent this game, really needs to wake up here if they want any shot at the 1 seed. Since right now, it's been the Seattle's defense show, to be honest. They've been playing an incredibly good game. As I scroll through my Twitter feed just to catch up on all of the AEW collision that I completely missed today because I've been watching the game. Let's see, anything fun? Looks like it was Darby Allin versus Wheeler Yuta. That would have been a fun match to watch. But yeah, I am a wrestling fan, more an AEW fan. Got into it when I was in college. And yeah, it's been fun to watch. That was nice. Put on pretty good pay-per-view last weekend. World's End, big title change. MJF won over Samoa Joe, and to start off the new year strong. Oh yeah, we had Willow Nightingale win the TBS Championship off Mercedes Moné. I was pretty happy about that. Willow Nightingale is really cool. I love her. She's such a fun wrestler to watch, and she deserves the TBS title shot or champ. Second time going on. So that was cool to see. Anyway, let's go quickly back to the 2025 draft before we got it. So I can cover probably one player. Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan, drafted by Chicago, who's had an okay, I think, rookie season. I know it's kind of been lost in the shuffle a little bit for a Bears offense that had been good, but like there hasn't really been one player that has really stood out. It's been a lot and that's not a bad thing either. It's like they just have a lot of contributors overall. There just hasn't been like the one superstar so far. It's been a lot of contributions from you have Luther Burden, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland, Caleb Williams obviously running the show, but also DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monungai. Monungai, a great find in the 7th round. Their running back, who was, if I can find him, I don't remember what college he was in, to be honest. Let's see. Kyle Manungai out of Rutgers. That's what it was. And yeah, he's been a really good little addition and like a good 1-2 punch with him and DeAndre Swift for a Bears offense that has been having a pretty good run of things this year under new head coach Ben Johnson. So actually I can sneak in pick 11. The San Francisco 49ers picked Michael Williams out of Georgia, the defensive end. So yeah, I've mentioned him now a few times despite the fact that he is not playing in this game. Wish him and everyone else who is injured the best. So kickoff here. It is going to be returned by Brian Robinson, who will get out to the 30-yard line, basically. Did not bobble the ball this time, and instead was able to run it out for some decent field position for the 49ers, who really need to get things going here. Obviously, again, it doesn't help that they don't have Trent Williams, and it seems like every time they don't have Trent Williams, they do a lot worse. I think it's like the record that they have with and without Trent Williams is staggeringly lopsided. But overall, it's just the Niners, and they only have like around 100 yards of total offense right now. They just have not been able to get anything going too much. So pistol formation here for Purdy. He sends McCaffrey out in motion out wide to the right. Empty now for him as he looks to throw. Rolls to his right. Looks to throw. Will throw it downfield. Has a wide open George Kittle for big catch, about 20 plus, I want to say. 29 yards on the completion, or no, 20 yards on the completion, 29 yards total on the night for the big man, George Kittle. Where did George Kittle go to college? I don't remember because he was a 2017 fifth round pick, actually. Oh, yeah. No surprise, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, from Iowa. Tight end university, essentially. Yeah, Kittle, the superstar tight end that they've had for forever. Very fun player. Makes big catch there. Purdy now looks to pass, evades some rushers, looks to throw. Now will choose to run it. Has some room, makes a move, gets the first down. Gets about 10.5 on the first down run. So move the chains on first down. Was looking to throw deep, didn't like it, and pulled it down. Had room and made the first down. Was tackled there by Ernest Jones, the fourth. Number 13, their linebacker. So Purdy, 16 of 20 for 97 yards, 21 yards on the ground. Purdy fakes the pass, now hands it off to McCaffrey, who bounces off an offensive lineman, gets about 3 yards on the carry on first down. McCaffrey, pretty quiet night, all things considered. Definitely not his usual type of night. And did get some positive yards there, but we haven't really seen many big runs from San Francisco all that much. Looks like Byron Murphy either winded or a little shaken up for the Seahawks, but he's been probably contributing a little bit to the lack of big runs for the 49ers. This time Purdy will throw it quick over to Demarcus Robinson, who will run for the first down, gets about 8 yards on the quick screen pass. Purdy had faked the handoff to McCaffrey, threw it out wide to Demarcus Robinson on the flat. We get Juwan Jennings getting into a bit of a tussle on the Seahawks sideline because, of course, he's over there. Apparently, Juwan Jennings is like a real piece of work, according to everyone in the NFL. I mentioned earlier when the 49ers would play the Broncos, whereas Shelby Harris, it wasn't the Broncos. Jennings and the Seahawks cornerback, who I can't tell at the moment, were just blocking each other into the Seahawks sideline. Who is that? I think that was Devin Witherspoon was guarding him, and they just went into the sideline on the complete opposite side of the play. But anyway, Shelby Harris was had some keywords for Juwan Jennings after they played in the one game. Purdy this time will throw it complete to Juwan Jennings. There he is for a first down, about 15 yards. Now a first and goal for the 49ers, so their offense finally starting to get into rhythm here as they complete first down after first down, and suddenly now they're in the red zone. Good play here and good protection there as well for Purdy. Just finds an open spot in the zone, and pretty easy pitch and catch there for Purdy to Jennings. And now from the 9-yard line, 49ers have a chance to score a touchdown here. I formation here. Purdy will hand it off to McCaffrey, runs it up the middle for about 3 yards on the carry. Actually, I think that was more from the pistol, not I formation, but it's the same idea where Purdy wasn't quite behind center, but he was a little bit behind, and then McCaffrey was behind him. So my mind immediately thinks to I formation, though I think it's technically not I formation there, is what it is. But anyway, 2nd and 10 here, 6 plays, 64 yards for this current drive for San Francisco. Easily their best drive of the night. This time, Purdy is in shotgun. McCaffrey's to his right. Motion from use check over to the left. Purdy looks to throw. He will throw it over to McCaffrey, and he bobbles it, and it's intercepted. Oh my goodness. Wow. That pretty easy throw right into McCaffrey's hands. McCaffrey just bobbled it and just bobbled right into the hands of Drake Thomas, who was covering McCaffrey. Wow. That's not a play you're going to see every day. It was tipped a little bit by Boye Mafe, but even then, it was right into the hands of McCaffrey, and he just could not catch it. And then it just fell right into the hands of Drake Thomas, who did catch it. I mean, it wasn't the easiest catch in the world because it was kind of at his knees, but it's a catch you see McCaffrey make all the time. And this time he didn't catch it, and worst case scenario for the 49ers on this offensive drive. Huge swing here. The Seahawks are going to get it at their own 3-yard line, but little bit of a tip by Boye Mafe. That probably threw McCaffrey off a little bit, but even then, that's a pass he should have caught, and the 49ers get no points out of that drive. Darnold's going to hand it off here to Charbonnet, who will get 1 yard at the most. But either way, huge win there for the Seahawks on that drive. So first turnover of the night there, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't think there was another turnover this game. There was almost a turnover earlier that the Seahawks committed, but in the end there was none. And yeah, that was huge swing of the game right there. Darnold under center again, has Charbonnet in the back again. Darnold will look to pass, though. He will throw it and find a wide open Jackson Smith-Njigba for a first down. Very soft spot in the zone there, and new set of downs for the Seahawks. About a 10-yard completion there. Actually, probably more like a 15-yard completion. Had Renardo Green on coverage, and Green was playing very soft there, and Smith-Njigba with a nice route. Easy pitch and catch for the very, very successful quarterback wide receiver duo. So Smith-Njigba, 6 catches, 84 yards on the day. Darnold will hand it off to Charbonnet, who gets about 2 yards on the run to the left. And so it'll be 2nd and 8, though now we're under 9 minutes, and the clock is certainly becoming an issue for the 49ers. So in theory, the Seahawks could just end it with this drive. In theory. And, even if they only get 2 yards on the run, bleeds a lot of time. And they're up by 10, only 8.5 left to go. So big drive here for the 49ers defense. They need to come up with a stop. Otherwise, it's going on a road trip for the wild card round. Darnold will take it from shotgun, look to throw. He will evade a rush here, roll to his right, looks to throw, now takes it and runs, will get tripped up trying to go for the first down. Gets about 5 yards on the run, so it's going to be about a 3rd and 3. But still stays in bounds as well, so the clock is going to run. Was tackled there by Jason Pinnock, I think is what it is. Jason Pinnock, backup safety out of Pitt, a 2025 5th-round pick by the Jets, actually. So filling in there. 3rd and 2 here for the Seattle Seahawks. Under 8 minutes left to go. Seahawks are 4 of 9 from third down, 7.1 average on the yardage. This is only 2 yards to go. Darnold is in shotgun with Zach Charbonnet to his right. Motions Cooper Kupp into the slot with Smith-Njigba as well. Darnold will look to throw, will throw it, and complete to his tight end. Never mind, that is not his tight end. That is Cooper Kupp. Thought I saw 81. I completely misread it, and that is number 10 instead. So motion Cooper Kupp in and found Cooper Kupp for the first down, and looks like we'll get either a timeout or an injured player. It is, in fact, an injured player. Another 49er defender. That is, I think, one of their linebackers. It is, once again, Tatum Benthew, who was injured earlier but came back and is now injured again, unfortunately. So we'll have a clock stoppage here. And that means I can go back to the 2025 draft. Yay, let's go. All right, we left off at Michael Williams for the 49ers. We go to pick 12, Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama, drafted by the Cowboys, since the Cowboys love picking their first-round offensive lineman named Tyler. It's, I think, Tyler Steen, Tyler Booker, and Tyler Guyton, I think. I think those are the three. Tyler Steen might not be a first-rounder. It was Tyler... I don't know. They have a lot of Tylers on their offensive line, essentially. But I think Tyler Booker's been pretty good. I don't know too much. Again, it's an offensive lineman. Can't really say too much about them, I'll be honest. Yeah, the Cowboys picked another offensive lineman in the first round. They have, I believe, 2 or 3 first-round picks going into 2026 because of the Micah Parsons trade. I think they had 3. Might have been 2. I don't know. I think they have 2 right now because they might have traded 1 for Quinton Williams, something like that. They have a lot of draft capital, essentially, with the Micah Parsons stuff. Okay, well, we'll see what the Cowboys do there because they, unfortunately for them, I'm certainly not going to complain about it, but they fell very short in the race this year. They are basically hovering around 500 and out of the playoffs. So after that, we get to pick 13 and Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, who went to Miami. And I'll be honest, I don't know if he's really done anything in the NFL. He has 11 tackles and a half sack with 1 pass deflection, although that is as of week 5. Wikipedia just has not updated his stats all that much. I know I could probably use like Pro Football Reference or something like that. I probably should be using that, but I just like the visuals of Wikipedia a little bit better for this. It's just easier for me, and I'm not like trying to do a deep dive. But I have not heard much of Kenneth Grant. Obviously, the Dolphins have not been having a good season, so I don't know. We'll see. So pick 14 was Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State by the Colts, and he has been having a great season. Like there's a decent chance he gets Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think he will, but he's been a stellar pick for a team that had a lot of success early on, and then before everything fell apart. But Tyler Warren, I would not say is part of the reason they fell apart at all. He's been having a very strong season. So back to the game, Seahawks on their own 30-yard line. They will get the ball handed off to Kenneth Walker, who bounces it outside, gets a good hole, gets the first down, gets about 12 yards on the rush. What a day for Kenneth Walker. What a day for this Seahawks rushing attack. Just finding so many holes on this San Francisco defensive line. And Kenneth Walker now up to 86 rushing yards. Zach Charbonnet not that far behind him. Charbonnet has the lone touchdown in this game. And another new set of downs for this Seahawks offense that is quickly burning through clock here. Charbonnet has 59 rushing yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 86 yards. So between them, that's about 150 yards rushing. Pretty good there. Walker's going to get it again. Here, he's running right up the middle again. Breaks a tackle. Gets another first down over the midfield. That's been the story of the game right there. So back-to-back rushes for Kenneth Walker. Back-to-back first downs. We're going to go under 6 minutes here. And it's looking like it's going to be a Seahawks victory unless things really change here. Unless like Seahawks have made a turnover. Because right now the Seahawks are just running all over San Francisco. Zach Charbonnet is subbed into the game. And more, the clock is becoming an issue for the 49ers. So Darnold under center once again. Charbonnet now the back. Cooper Kupp goes in motion. And Darnold's going to snap it and fake the handoff to Charbonnet. Looks to throw. Now we'll check it down to Charbonnet. We'll attempt to break a tackle. We'll get about 6 yards on the catch. We'll certainly stay in bounds as it was right over the middle. And we'll keep the clock running. So Seahawks offense is driving. Tackle on the play there by Jair Brown. ESPN's showing the NFC conference picture, and it's once again looking like the Seahawks are probably going to be securing this number 1 seed. Darnold now in shotgun with Charbonnet to his left. He will draw off to Charbonnet, who will break a few tackles at the line of scrimmage and get a first down going over the left side. Run of about 7 yards on 2nd and 4 for Zach Charbonnet. First down here, under 5 minutes left to go. Seahawks are just completely rolling. They just cannot be stopped on the run game right now by this 49ers defense. They have 173 rushing yards on the day, 5.4 yards per carry. That says it all. Like, Darnold hasn't even had to do much. He's only thrown for 174 yards. I think he's running a couple times, but even then, it's really been this run game that's been winning it for the Seahawks. Darnold now directing traffic. He's under center, fakes the handoff to Kenneth Walker, who picks up a blitzer. Well, Darnold will roll to his left, throw, and that's actually intercepted, but the interceptor was out of bounds, was throwing it to, couldn't quite tell, I think it was to Rashid Shaheed on the rollout, but it threw it over his head a little bit and was actually caught by a 49ers defender, was throwing it to JSN, but the interceptor, who I think is Renardo Green, was unable to secure it before he went out of bounds. So in the end, just an incomplete pass. But yeah, Darnold was looking to throw it to JSN, who was open. Darnold just overthrew him a little bit. And in the end, incomplete pass, 4:23 left to go. Darnold now under center, 2nd and 10. Kenneth Walker in the backfield. Kenneth Walker will be met in the backfield, and this time the 49ers defense is there to make the stop for no gain whatsoever. So the 49ers were wise to the play at the moment, and it looks like they will be taking a timeout here as we are around 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Timeout by the 49ers. Not very surprising here as they are quickly running out of time. My guess is this is probably just going to be a 30-second timeout. That was, let's see, who was that on the tackle? That might have been Jason Pinnock. He was there on the tackle. I don't think he was the only one. To be honest, I'm just looking now. I see that Eric Kendricks is on the 49ers. I did not realize he was on the 49ers. I did not realize that at all. Was he always on the 49ers this year? He's been in the league for 10 years at this point. I don't know, to be honest. So 3rd and 10 here for the Seahawks. I'll look into Eric Kendricks later. 49ers defense really needs to stop the Seahawks here if they want any chance of winning this game. Because another first down for the Seahawks basically puts them in guaranteed field goal range, and they can burn more clock. So we'll see if the Seahawks go run here or go pass, because they're probably around field goal range, I would assume. And even then, they're up by 2 scores. So let's see. They are going past. Darnold drops back to pass. Will now step up a little bit, rolls to his right a little bit, now throws across his body and completes it to Cooper Kupp for the first down, catch and run for about 20 yards. Huge play to Cooper Kupp. 49ers are going to take a timeout, but Kupp was able to sneak through some 49ers defenders and meet up with his quarterback. Good little bit of improvisation there. Kupp kind of gets hung up in a little bit. Now follows his quarterback. Darnold throws back across over the middle a little bit, but Kupp was open and good completion there. Basically completed through the air for about 11 yards and another 10 yards after the catch. Not a super loud game for Kupp. We haven't seen him too much. He only has 2 catches on 3 targets, but that one was huge for the Seattle Seahawks. So yes, San Francisco is taking their second timeout. 4:02 left to go, but the Seahawks are well within field goal range. They are now in the red zone, and they are on the San Francisco 12-yard line to be precise. And this is exactly the drive they needed. 12 plays, 85 yards burned, already over 6 minutes on the clock and counting. We'll get a handoff here to Zach Charbonnet, who gets about 4 yards right up the gut. That will probably force San Francisco to use their final timeout at 3:57. And yep, that is the final timeout for the 49ers, but definitely looking dire for them, especially if the Seahawks get a touchdown right here. I'm basically calling game, essentially. I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to come back. Even if the Seahawks just score a field goal here, I still don't think the 49ers are going to be able to come back and win, just because their offense has done nothing this game. Like, they had the one good drive, and then they threw an interception. That wasn't really Purdy's fault. It was just bobbled pass, good defense. So they had their chance and blew it, essentially. And pretty underwhelming performance by the 49ers here. They'll have a week plus to try and figure things out for the wild card round. But right now, doesn't look like they're going to be winning this game. So I formation here for the Seahawks. Hand off to Charbonnet, who will take it. Spin out of a tackle, get about 3 or 4 on the carry. The 49ers can no longer stop the clock, so this is going to go down about 3 minutes, 10 seconds. We'll have a 3rd and 4 for the Seahawks. They will certainly be taking all their time here. And the worst part for the 49ers is that the Seahawks can still get another first down before they even get to the touchdown. There's the first down marker is around like the 8-yard line, I want to say. Charbonnet almost actually lost the ball on the handoff. A bit of an awkward transfer. So the first down yard marker is actually at the 2-yard line. A little bit further. They're on the 6-yard line at the moment. Handoff here to Charbonnet, who will get it, dance it, and get stopped just short of the first down yardage marker. So it'll be a 4th and 1, but this will take it down to about 2.5 on the clock. Well, actually, I'm curious if the Seahawks would try and go for this, because they're already up by 10, and even if they don't get it, they would still be putting the ball basically on the 4-yard line for the 49ers. It does look like they're going to be going for it. So 15 plays, 94 yards, burning already over 8 minutes of clock. So could not ask for a better drive right now. The Seahawks are lining up to go for it, lining up in tush-push formation for about 1.5 yards left to go. They're looking like they're just trying to draw the 49ers offsides at the moment. And won't get a play here. Will they call a timeout or take the delay of game? Looks like we'll get a delay of game instead. So I think they will be going for the field goal here. I might have gone for the. I might have gone for it. I think I would have gone for it. Like, your defense is playing so well all game, and the Niners defense or the Niners offense has not been able to get anything, and you can still get a first down without even having to get a touchdown. So, like, they're kicking a field goal to just go up 13. So it's like you still lose if they score 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. That's just me. That's what I would do. It's a 26-yard field goal here for Jason Myers, who will kick it up. And, he doinked it! He doinked it! No way! Oh, my goodness. It was a 26-yard field goal. And he doinked it. That's crazy. So 2:20 left to go. See, the 49ers down by 10. And they're not dead yet. They still have a 2-minute warning. They're down by 10. Wow. And Jason Myers is having a Pro Bowl caliber season as a kicker. Missed 2 tonight, 1 from 47, another from 26. Insanity. That's why you should go for it. I'm just saying. That's why you should go for it. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So 49ers have a chance from their own 20-yard line. Have a chance. Purdy will look to throw here on first down. Will get it and incomplete. Was looking for DeMarcus Robinson. Had some pressure on him. Forced him to kind of throw it off his back foot. And incomplete. 2:16 on the clock. 2nd and 10. Purdy and the Niners offense just not having much success in the passing game or in the run game. Got pressure right up in his face by Byron Murphy. And Purdy kind of whacked his hand a little bit on some helmets, so hopefully he's okay. It seems to be all right. He's still in there. Shotgun again for Purdy. Looks to throw on 2nd and 10. Checks it down to McCaffrey, who gets tackled almost immediately there by Nick Emanwari inbounds. Looks like we will probably be getting to the 2-minute warning here on 3rd down and 5. That we will. 3rd down and 6, actually. So, again, game's not over. The promising Seattle drive, while it did burn a ton of time, netted 0 points off of the doink. But the 49ers, without any timeouts and now past the 2-minute warning, need to score 10 points. So they need to get a touchdown and then also a field goal to tie. So they have big mountain to climb, essentially. They need to score something and then convert an onside kick. And that's a tall task, but not impossible. So let's go back to the 2025 draft real quick. So we left off at pick 14 with Tyler Warren. Pick 15 was Jalen Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia. That's the Falcons pick. I mentioned him earlier. So from what I've seen, he's been playing pretty well. Definitely, I think the whole team has been playing a lot better recently. Um, and so one of the two, we'll get to James Pierce Jr. later, that the Falcons picked in the first round. So pick 16 was Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss by Arizona. And he's having a pretty solid season, I think. I know he's dealt with some injuries, and I think he didn't play the start of the season from what I remember. But I'm pretty sure he has either a fumble recovery or a pick six in one of the games. And he's a big dude as well. He's 6'4", 300, but looks a lot bigger than that. So big guy right there. So after that, it was pick 17, Shamar Stewart, the defensive end out of Texas A&M by the Cincinnati Bengals, who honestly, from what I remember most, he held out during spring training because I think it was just a fully guaranteed contract that he didn't get. And so there was that whole saga there. And then I think he's basically just done nothing and then got injured for a chunk of the season. So basically no one won in that situation. Pick 18 was Gray Zabel, the guard out of North Dakota State that I've been talking a little bit about in this Seahawks game because he's been having a really good season and a pretty good game as well outside of the one holding penalty he had. Pretty good game tonight. So after that, we have pick 19, Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, or if you were to go by the Rob Gronkowski pronunciation that he had that one time on the Fox post game show or whatever it was. He called him Emeka Egbuka, which I almost said when I first said him, but yeah. Emeka Egbuka, who had a blazing start to the season, has slowed down a lot with really the whole Bucs team that has slowed down a lot. But you're picking a guy out of Ohio State at wide receiver in the first round. You're probably going to have a good time because Ohio State seems to print wide receivers on trees lately. All right. Back after the 2-minute warning, Purdy looks to throw on third down. Will throw it up for grabs and incomplete. Broken up there. Was going for George Kittle. Who was that on the coverage? Josh Jobe. I think that's his name. Yeah, Josh Jobe on the coverage. Good coverage there. Purdy was kind of thrown off his back foot a little bit. Was off the hands, not a very easily catchable ball for Kittle, but I'm sure one he wants back, but pretty tough anyway. So this is actually the game right here. 4th and 6. 49ers are out of timeout, so if they don't convert this, the game's basically over. Purdy will look to throw here on 4th down. Pressure in his face. Gets knocked as he's going and incomplete. Purdy is on his back, got pressure, and no flags on the field. That should do it. Purdy is still down, actually. That's not good, though. Purdy might be injured, unfortunately. There's pressure going right in his face. Leonard Williams and company were putting pressure on him and got tackled low and around the knees. That's not directly low, but he kind of got folded around the knees a little bit by who is that? I think Derek Hall, maybe? No. Yeah, Derek Hall, actually. That's who it was. Purdy also got his hand kind of smacked a little bit. And yeah, just not a good look there anyway for Purdy. Pass went incomplete. His thumb's actually bleeding a little bit, so that's probably some of the pain he's in right now. So Purdy's jogging off the field now, so it's probably more frustration and a little bit of pain from the hand. Either way, though, Seattle ball on basically in the red zone. San Francisco can no longer stop the clock, so barring anything completely unprecedented, this should be a Seahawks victory here. So huge victory for them. I only got about halfway through the 2025 draft. That's whatever. Actually, I got a little bit past halfway. So I'll speed through the last picks here. So as we get kneel down. So pick 20 was Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas to Denver. I actually don't think he's having a great season, all things considered. I haven't heard too much from him, but I think it's kind of being overshadowed by the fact that the Broncos are having a very good season overall. This is very much victory formation for the Seahawks, who will clinch the number 1 seed. And then San Francisco's going to fall to 12-5 and go to the 5 seed. And then I think, depending on the Bears game, potentially the 6 seed. All right, so pick 21 in the draft was Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, who went to Pittsburgh. I think he's been pretty good. I know he's been dealing with injuries, if I remember correctly. But overall, I think he's been playing pretty solid. We get another kneel down here. on 2nd and 11. And I think it's going to run out the rest of the clock after the third kneel down. Pick 22 was Omarion Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina, to the Los Angeles Chargers. And when he's not injured, he's been playing well. He was injured for actually a majority of the season. He got injured in the Washington game in week 5, I believe, and was out until like week 13 or 14. But when he's on the field, he's playing well. Pick 23 was Matthew Golden, the wide receiver out of Texas, to Green Bay. And while Green Bay was certainly happy when it happened, Golden's had a pretty quiet season, all things considered. They were hoping he was going to be the like wide receiver one that could really break out in the massive wide receiver core they have, but he just has not at all. I know he's dealt with injuries. The game's also over. The final kneel down has happened, and the play clock has eclipsed the game clock, or I guess the other way around. So hugs there for Darnold and company as they secure a 14-3 season and will go on to the 1 seed and get that first round bye. So I'll wrap up the first round real quick. So Matthew Golden at pick 23. Pick 24 was Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State, to Minnesota. I don't know how he's doing, to be honest. Again, it's an offensive lineman. Can't quite comment on him that much. Pick 25 was Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss, to New York. And when he's not in concussion protocol, he's actually been playing pretty well. But the problem is he's been in and out of concussion protocol and just injuries in general for like half his season already, which is not ideal. Pick 26 was James Pierce Jr., defensive end out of Tennessee, to Atlanta. Atlanta traded back into the first round to secure that pick from LA, the Rams, I should specify. And it took him a little while to get going, but I think now he's been playing a lot better. Pick 27 was Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia, and I mentioned him a little bit earlier. He went to the Ravens, and I think he's actually been kind of having a little bit of a quiet season, but we'll see how it goes from there. Pick 28 was Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State, who went to Detroit, and I think he's been injured for most of his season. Let me see what it says, because I feel like I remember him being injured. Maybe not. So he has 17 tackles, 1 sack, and 3 pass deflections as a defensive tackle. So honestly, I don't know too much about him. Don't know how he's been playing too much. Obviously, Detroit this season, pretty big disappointment for them, though. Pick 29 was Josh Connerly Jr., the offensive tackle out of Oregon, to the Commanders. I was very happy with this pick when it happened because, we could always use some more protection for Jaden Daniels. And while it started off a little bit rough for Connerly, I mean, he was switching positions from left to right tackle and then going up against a ton of really good pass rushers to start. He's turned into a pretty good tackle so far in his rookie career, or in his rookie season. So I think safe to say Washington's tackle position is in good hands for the next 3 to 5 years with Tunsil and Connerly. Pick 30 was Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky, to the Bills, and he didn't play until I think week 5 or 6, essentially. He was injured up until the start of the season, or he was injured for the start of the season, I should say. And he was he didn't play until basically end of October. So actually it was week 8 when he came back. And I think he's been all right, but other than that, don't know too much. Pick 31 was Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama, who went to the Eagles. And I know he started off well, but I think overall his season has not been the best. I think he gets lost in coverage a lot, and still needs a lot of work there. Then the last pick was Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle out of Iowa State, to Kansas City. And when he's on the field, he's good. He's just been dealing with injuries and I think some personal issues as well. But I think more so the injuries that it has been what has held him back a little bit. But when he's on the field, he's been good. And then I can see literally pick 33 was Carson Schweschinger, linebacker of UCLA that the Browns had, and he's been really good chance Schweschinger wins DROI. Either that or 2 picks later, Nick Amon-Wari, who we just saw in the Seattle game. He could also win DROI. Both of them have been playing very, very well. So that will do it. I'm also just looking at the second round. There's a lot of good, Carson Schweschinger, Jaden Higgins, Nick Amon-Wari, Quinshon Judkins, first 5 picks. Then you also get Travion Henderson, Luther Burden, and Tyler Shuck, not long after that. Quite the draft right there. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed my little shakeup of the usual and my play-by-play commentary. Hopefully it was all right. I had fun doing it. Certainly wasn't the most exciting game from an offensive showcase this time, but hey, not everything can be a Rams Chiefs Monday night 54-51 shootout like back in 2018. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. You'll hear a recap of this game along with the rest of the Week 18 games on Tuesday. After that, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next Saturday for an episode, but I'll figure something out. And then after that, I'll be doing recaps for all of the playoff rounds for the NFL. So don't think that this show is going anywhere anytime soon. Also, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Henry the Host, all one word. You can find my podcast there, as well as other various YouTube things, such as my Metroid Prime 4 Let's Play, my World of Warships weekly series that I do. Sorry, I have the hiccups still a little bit. But yeah, my weekly series where I play World of Warships and highlight a different ship and throw some little edits in there. My episode this week is probably going to be a little boring. The games that I had were not the best. I could certainly record more, but I don't really feel like it at the moment. But yeah, anyway, that'll do it. I rambled on for too long. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. And I kind of going to restate my usual outro, whatever. Thank you very much for listening.